Welcome back to another stream here on the David Rams channel. Who's here? Who's here in the Ram fam? We've got Dillian. What's up, mate? Sam, how you doing? We've got Michael's here. Who else we got in the room? Beastly Vegoon. It's a funny one. welcome, everyone. Today, guys, we've got a stream planned for you, of course. Myself and Lawrence is going to be here as well shortly. And we're going to talk about something that I saw that just wound me up. It just wound me up. It's about animal testing. It's not what you think. Don't worry. We're not going to show you anything graphic. There's going to be nothing like that. The shocking thing about what I'm going to show you today is actually not what's happened to the animals, which is it is shocking, to be fair, but it's not the most shocking thing. The most shocking thing about what I'm going to show you today is what they're saying about what they're doing to the animals. It is just you'll not believe it. And I'm going to go in hard, guys. I'm not taking prisoners today. I just want to put that out there right now. I'm not taking prisoners today. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to give you a piece of my mind. I'm going to give them a piece of my mind as well. This has to be said. So that's going to be the first thing we talk about. Okay. Then we're going to talk about some other stories as well, because when I've been doing Face to Facts Fridays and my research, there's been a couple of stories come up that I've said, you know what, I don't think these can fit with the Face to Facts. I feel like I need more space to discuss them. They're not spicy enough. They're not interesting enough to just bang in a 1 minute clip for a Face to Facts, or even 2 minutes. It's like, no, it's not. It's just not impactful enough. So I figured I want to talk about them in a more open platform like here with you guys. That's what we're going to do. So we've got a couple more stories after this one about animal testing. We've got quite a lot actually to talk about, all very interesting, all vegan and animal rights related. So stick around, guys. It's going to be a good one. Let's bring Lawrence in. Let's say hello to our good pal Lawrence. Hey mate, welcome.
Wait, how's everyone doing?
Yeah, it's good to have you back, man. It's been a minute, right?
Has it?
I feel like it's been a minute. You've not been on for, I mean, for me, man, it's like the amount that I stream, it's like, feels like you've not been here in about a year.
You've got a lot under the belt. Yeah. No, we were just discussing how we've both been a bit poorly.
Yeah, a little bit sniffly. No. I had the sniffles for a little bit. It's going away now, though, thankfully. Vegan. Yeah. What are you going to do? Exactly. Guys, remember, as we go through, we're going to start now, or like soon, as we do today, as always. If you want us to talk about a topic, if there's a news topic you want us to cover, today's the day for it. We'll get into it. So just send through a Streamlabs tip or a super chat with what you want to cover, and we'll do it. We'll pull it up on screen. We'll have a look at it. We'll get into it. All right. And anything else you want to talk about? Any comments, questions for Lawrence, questions for me, guys? Now's the time to do it. Let's have a good one today. Let's get into all this. So, Lawrence, you don't really know what's coming, do you? I've not really told you about what we're going to talk about, but we can just dive right into it if you want.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. A bit of pick and mix, seeing what's coming up.
Yeah, we got some stuff. So, all right, let's kick off with this story then. So, the title of the video, what did I title it, Lawrence? I can't even remember. It's something like animal testing researchers are disgusting. That's the one, and they are disgusting. And I was just saying, it's for the reasons you would expect, but more. There's more, guys, and here it comes. So, what's happened is, and Lawrence, have you got it loaded up? You got it on your side, right?
Yeah, I'm getting it up now.
All right, sweet. Now someone's going to clip that out.
let them clip it out. They'll love it.
Well, I'm going to kick off because you can listen anyway. So
yeah.
Here, this is an article by Science. It says, suffering in silence. Caring for research animals can take a severe mental toll. Is anyone listening? Now, that title alone is enough to get you a bit like, wait, what? Just, you're not going to believe where they go with this. Let's get into it. I'll zoom in a bit so it's easier to, well, maybe that's not so, yeah, that looks okay, I guess. Connor Sessions' decision to combine his love of science and animals nearly destroyed him. Growing up in rural Washington state, he spent his early life surrounded by cows, horses, cats, and dogs, cared about all of them, considered a career in veterinary medicine, but graduated with a bachelor's degree in biochemistry and saw a job ad that changed his mind. The school needed an animal technician, someone to clean and feed mice, pigs, dogs, and other creatures used in biomedical research. I wanted to get involved with science, and working with animals was a big plus, he said. He took the job, spent his shift feeding and playing with dogs and livestock at the university, an echo of his youth, and the sheep would headbutt him for snacks. Says he grew especially attached to the dogs, which was tough. Some were bred for 2 different forms of muscular dystrophy, one 100% fatal. So they were doing tests on dogs, giving them muscular dystrophy, and one of these types would kill them every time. He raised the puppies from birth, sometimes tube feeding those that had trouble nursing, trained one litter to line up in their kennel for treats. Then he would walk in one morning and find some of them dead in their enclosures, victims of the disease they were putting on them. So it talks about how this guy came to expect it, but it never got easier. And every time he entered the underground facility, he panicked and was scared of what he might find. Became anxious, depressed, obsessively checking on dogs throughout the day. He'd go home and then doing the dishes at night and wondering, should he go back and check if the animals are okay? It says he would hesitate to go on the vacation or take weekends off. Wanted to be there for them. It's almost like they become your pets, he says. And his depression and anxiety got worse, began to struggle with hopelessness and guilt, but didn't feel like he could talk to anyone about it. And he worried his supervisors would think he was unfit for the job, thinking that because of animal rights campaigns, that they would say, that his friends would say that he hates animals, and says his therapist wasn't helpful, saying he should change jobs. That's interesting, isn't it? Even his therapist was of little help. She was like, why don't you change jobs? Why is that of little help? Isn't that just the number one piece of advice you could give an animal lover if they're working in this environment? Get out, get another job. Is that not the obvious fucking thing to do? I could, wild. What do you think so far, Lawrence? It gets really bad, by the way. It gets much worse than this.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, actually, like the first thing when you were just saying there, like get out of the job, that might not actually be like the best thing to do, because if he stays around, he could try and like get the place shut down or something. Do you know what I mean?
Well, we'll see. We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Okay.
Samira,
right.
Thank you so much for the tip. Says, I'd love your thoughts on this video about how plants are trying to kill us. We can check that out after this for sure. We can have a look. But actually, I mean, we can have a look. But if it's a science-heavy video, we're not. You know what I mean? With that kind of video, you kind of have to prep. So we'll take a look at it, but there's no guarantee we can just straight debunk it on the spot. I don't know exactly what's going to be in it. I think I glanced at it because you sent it me in a DM or I saw it somewhere. But yeah, just FYI, can't guarantee we'll do the best job because we haven't prepped for that video. But if it's science heavy, but yeah, thank you for the suggestion. We'll check it out. Instead, Sessions found himself sneaking into the employee locker room and crying. He didn't know it at the time, but he was suffering from an affliction haunting many colleagues, compassion fatigue. Now, this is where I started to get a bit frustrated, because compassion fatigue is something that's normally associated with people who work in, for example, rescuing animals, or people who take photographs, investigate animal ag, or people who work in war zones trying to save people's lives. And these are all the situations where compassion fatigue is a serious problem. This guy,
well, David,
yeah, go ahead.
For the people who maybe can benefit, what is compassion fatigue?
It's when you don't have control over a situation. You're doing your best to help with it, but you become too invested in the victims to the point where you blame yourself for everything that's happening, and it causes all the symptoms that this guy is getting, your depression and feeling like you're responsible, feeling like it's all your fault, like you've not done enough. Vegans get it quite a lot, actually. With vegans, we talk about vegans like, oh, no, I need to stay up. I need to work 12 hours, 13, 14 hours a day. Otherwise, I'm to blame for this. It's kind of, I don't know the exact definition, but I'm pretty sure it's something like that. Let's just bring it up. Like, let's not leave it to chance. Occurs when psychologists or others take on the suffering of patients who have experienced extreme stress or trauma. So that's the OG thing. But basically, you're just taking it in too much and blaming yourself basically and experiencing what they experience.
Yeah, it's like you're exposing yourself to the suffering of others, and it's just getting to you basically,
right.
And you just get worn out from being empathetic. Exactly.
But in this case, this guy's suffering from it. But he's not helping anyone. This isn't what I would say is compassion fatigue. He's not got compassion fatigue. He is paid to be an animal research assistant it's not compassion fatigue here, in my opinion. It's not like he's been exposed to animals who need his help and that's his job is to help them. It's like, no, your job is to prime them for these monsters to fuck with them. And you're just as disgusting as they are. You don't deserve to call yourself, oh, I've got compassion fatigue. No, you fucking haven't. You're an evil piece of shit. And you deserve all the horror that you're going through. All in your mental horror, you deserve it. It's not compassion fatigue. You feel guilty because you're a cunt. That's what's going on. No, I'm serious, man. It's I read that. I was like, how fucking dare you define this as compassion fatigue? How dare you throw that in the face of every animal activist, of every fucking investigator that genuinely has compassion fatigue, and you twats are saying you've got it. You murderous, disgusting people who are like actively abusing these animals, getting paid for it. You think you've got compassion fatigue? No, you've got guilt, and you deserve every inch of it, all of it. Fuckers, man. So it goes on. It says healthcare workers and pet veterinarians are no strangers to compassion fatigue. Yeah, because they're actually trying to fucking help people. So yes, they have it. They have it. They shouldn't feel guilty, those people. They're trying to help. You don't have compassion fatigue. You have guilt, and you deserve that guilt, you piece of shit. I'm sorry. I read this, man. I got so worked up when I first read it, and I'm getting worked up again. Being surrounded by suffering and dying patients can extract a profound mental, emotional, and physical toll, a sort of traumatic stress by proxy. Yes, not you, though. But the condition also strikes a shocking number of lab animal workers. No, it doesn't. They're just guilty because of abusing animals for a living. A community of tens of thousands worldwide that includes everyone from cage cleaners to veterinarians who oversee entire animal facilities. I mean, those veterinarians. I mean, this is the thing with some vets. Maybe they have to do this for their job, right? But they don't agree with it, and that's compassion fatigue. Yeah, because they would rather help those animals, not. But they get paid to come in here and just test their vitals and shit or whatever, or make sure they're, I don't know, somehow sufficiently healthy, right? Besides the symptoms sessions experienced, those who handle lab animals may face insomnia, chronic physical ailments, zombie-like lack of empathy, and in extreme cases, severe depression, substance abuse, and thoughts of suicide. Good. Like, genuinely, I'm not even joking. Good. I'm glad that you experience all of that. You should experience all of that. It's not compassion fatigue. It's what you deserve for what you're doing to these animals. As many as 9 in 10 people in the profession will suffer from compassion fatigue at some point during their careers. According to recent research, more than twice the rate of those who work in hospital intensive care units. Yeah, good. Again, it's one of the leading reasons animal care workers quit. Good that they quit. Good. Now, like this article, basically, so it says they spoke with some people. I'm gonna skip to the bit I want to get into. Oh yeah, listen to this. It's one of the only caring professions where you have to harm the beings you're caring for. Right, so they straight up admit that this
is a madness.
This isn't compassion fatigue. This is just, again, I'm gonna keep repeating that, but we know that they've just described how they're killing dogs, like killing animals with this horrible muscular dystrophy, and they'll just be in pain and then die. And then they're trying to make us believe that they've got compassion fatigue. Get fucked.
But also, they're calling it a caring profession. I mean, it's just astounding. Like if like say you had like an elderly home or something, and like that is a caring profession, right? You're caring for those people when they're older, and But imagine if there was a care home where they treated people like we treat animals in testing facilities.
It's insane.
And there are some care homes where they do treat them pretty bad. I not as bad as we treat animals in testing facilities, but they treat them pretty bad. And those places get exposed. Guess what? Because they're not caring for them, right? And they're supposed to be caring for them. But this, you can't even call it a care. Like, I don't understand in any way how it even meets the definition of care.
No.
Like, if they were caring for the animals, they would be animals who are in shit situations and they take them in and look after them.
Yeah.
But these people literally breed them into existence when they literally, like, these animals literally don't need to exist. Like, they just create them, abuse them, usually, and it doesn't even come to anything. But even if it does, it's not justified. And then they die of some horrible, I mean, in this case, it's the muscular dystrophy, but like,
I mean, it's sick.
Like, Yeah, I mean,
It's
some
sick.
of these animals, they get, operated on alive, and it's like, yeah. So the like calling it a caring profession,
Yeah.
it's a complete abuse of language and of animals, and yeah.
Completely. Dillian's tips and says, do slaughterhouse workers get compassion fatigue? Thank you for the tip. The answer, well, they would probably say yes, the people who wrote this article. And I was going to talk about slaughterhouse workers, but I'll get to that a little bit later because I want to make sure, I want to just get to the points in here that are interesting. And we'll talk about slaughterhouse workers. But yeah, Lawrence, you're totally right, man. What you said, the fact that they think this is some kind of caring role. No,
Yeah,
all they're doing is prepping animals to be abused. That's not caring. That's like the vets that work on farms. They don't care about the animals. They're prepping them to be killed for meat. They don't care about them. It's all about they need to be at a certain standard so that they're good for meat or good for testing on. That's not care. That's like that you're a mechanic. You're just an animal mechanic. That's all you are. It's not care at all. So it says here, at best, friends and family don't understand what they do or why. At worst, animal rights groups vilify them as torturers and murderers. Yes, we do, because it's what you are. It goes on to say that institutions are squeamish about talking about this compassion fatigue. There's some group of volunteers. They've created a compassion fatigue outreach program at one of these animal testing schools of some sort. They're trying new approaches to combat the problem. It's time we started taking care of each other better. We want people to know they're not alone. You're trying to make this. What are you trying to make this?
It's such crocodile tears. It's like, oh, I've put myself in a situation where I'm abusing innocent beings and it makes me feel bad. Well, what did you think it was going to make you feel? If you have any shred of compassion, which presumably you do if you're saying you have compassion fatigue.
Right.
What do you think? Like, what did you think was like? You're literally taking puppies, probably the most innocent beings on the planet, right? Any sort of child of any species, and you're like, what would in any other context be called abuse? Like, you are just a child abuser. That's what these people are. They are child abusers. Yeah,
Absolutely.
There's no two ways about it. So, like, of course, and then, we need care groups. Like, if you need a care group because you're torturing someone, maybe just don't torture them. Like,
It's such a level of cope, isn't it? Like, I feel bad for torturing animals. I need some therapy. Unbelievable. Yeah. Lily Veg, thank you for the tip. Says, one doctor offered me to make hemodialysis at pigs. I refused it and have conversation about it with him. He was watching at me like I was crazy. I saw pictures later when my colleagues said, yes, it was terrible. Yeah, are you training to be a doctor or some kind of researcher? And it's great that you denied it. It's really, really great that you denied it and refused. And it's good that you made the doctor question. You'll have made him question himself. That's really important. So, good for you for standing up for yourself and not giving into that. And I know some people try to get pushed into it for college and university and things as well. It's important to stand against it. Listen to this. Go on, man.
No, I was just gonna say these people, like, it's very fashionable to like paint yourself as a victim nowadays, and like this is like such a I think this is an example of it, but this is just so, because some people paint themselves as victims when they're not, but these people are painting themselves as victims when they are literally the ones doing the thing to exactly, they're the perpetrator directly.
They're trying to gaslight themselves, basically. Right? They're trying to gaslight us, and they're trying to gaslight themselves into thinking they're a victim. It's pathetic. Next level pathetic. Listen to this. Van Hooser knows compassion fatigue all too well. A year after receiving his bachelor's in zoology in 1991, began to work as a research scientist, helping study a rare disorder which can blind or severely restrict vision at birth. The work required him to euthanize massive numbers of mice, more than 13,000 a year, so the lab could study their eyes. Sometimes he had to kill dozens a day using an approved procedure known as cervical dislocation that essentially involved breaking their necks. So he killed 13,000 mice a year by breaking their necks so he could take out their eyes. And he would personally kill them himself, dozens of them every day, right? Now, we're expected to feel bad for this guy. You won't. This story is insane, right? You're not going to believe how this goes. The work eventually helped the team restore sight in an animal model of the disease. but it took a toll on Van Hooser. Note how they didn't say it helped anyone else. It's just that they figured out they could do it with an animal model. So, if it actually solved the problem for the disease, they would have said that, oh, yeah, it actually worked and helped people. No, it probably fucking didn't. That's why they didn't say it. But anyway, he couldn't shake feelings of guilt, sadness, and regret. I became extremely overcome with emotions I didn't know I had. I had no idea what I was dealing with. Now you're thinking, here comes a turning point for this guy. This sounds like it could be something, redemption. So when opportunity came up to take a more bureaucratic job, Van Hooser jumped. In 2002, he began to inspect experimental protocols and grants as a review scientist and compliance manager in the university's Office of Animal Welfare, a position he still holds today. So we're thinking, what is he gonna be like against the animal testing because he was so moved and he had all his emotions? No. Listen to this. His compassion fatigue didn't go away, however. In some ways, it got worse. He was approving hundreds of sometimes highly invasive experiments, and not just on rodents, but on cats, dogs, and monkeys. Some protocols, such as one where 2 mice were sewn together to share a circulatory system, were emotionally difficult for him to review. We're talking about a guy who killed dozens of mice by breaking their necks a day, 13,000 a year, and he's complaining that it was emotionally difficult for him to review studies on mice that got sewn together for some fucking stupid study. And it's like, it says here, I thought I was escaping, but I couldn't escape. So he's gone from the abuser to somebody who reviews the abuse. And it's all about him. Oh, it was just so tough for him to review this absolutely something out of Saw kind of animal testing. Like some kind of dystopian, movie script. Like, oh, we sewed 2 mice together so they could share a circulatory system. Like, what the hell? And he's saying, like, oh, it was so hard for me. Piece of shit. It says here, he grew up with farm animals, considered himself an animal lover. Yeah, sure. Animal lovers often kill thousands of 13,000 mice a year. That's a common thing from animal lovers, right, Lawrence?
Yeah, but also like growing up on a farm, it's no like it's no point. Surprise that his conception of an animal lover was abusive, right?
Right.
It's like growing up in a house where like what even would be the equivalent? I don't even know if we have a human equivalent
of right, I don't know, yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know what an equivalent would be.
Growing up in an orphanage. Or something.
No, because in an orphanage, they're not. No, it wouldn't be in an orphanage because in an orphanage, it's not like they're like raping and milking women. Do you get what I mean?
Oh, sorry, I was thinking the opposite. No, my bad. I missed your point. I thought I don't know. I thought I was looking for the opposite. I was like looking for the actual. If you were a real animal lover who would have grown up in a sanctuary, I thought you were looking for the human equivalent of that. I didn't track. I'm sorry. I didn't track. Fucking orphanage.
But, yeah.
Just like. That's so funny that I missed. I got into my own thoughts and then I just came back in and I thought we'd move to that. I'm sorry. No, what would the equivalent be? We don't have a human equivalent.
Yeah, we don't because it's so fucked that we don't. I mean, like humans can be dicks to each other and dicks is putting it lightly. But this is so fucked that we don't have a human equivalent that I can think of anyway.
I'm glad we don't though. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Well, okay, I've thought of an equivalent. Sorry about it, but I have thought of an equivalent.
Yeah.
Maybe if you grow up in like a brothel where the prostitutes are just being like abused all the time.
Right, sure.
And then you learn that that's the way that you love someone, right?
A couple of people are talking about human trafficking, like a human trafficking.
Yeah,
would
so
be
that would be
well.
yeah, exactly, like a brothel. Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, so it gets worse, if you can believe it. By the way, it says here. So, look at this. He said, this guy, we don't get compassion fatigue because we're weak. We get it because we care deeply. You scumbag. You don't care at all. You don't care at all. You just feel you feel guilt from what you're doing. But it's not from deep. If you cared deeply, you wouldn't do it. The reality is you just feel guilty and you should feel guilty. And the solution is not to keep going. The solution is to stop and then to start to fight against it, you scumbag. Not to sit there crying about how bad you feel about it. Absolutely, it's just absolutely sick. So this is a veterinarian who oversees some of these facilities. She's trying to foster empathy in the workers so they provide better and more compassionate care. So she's actually someone who's trying to I guess she figures she can't stop it, but the best she can do is try and make them more compassionate at least, and try to. So I guess she would be on the not the good side, not the right side, but she's on the more right than their side. DJ Lionel, thank you for the tips. It's absolute nightmare. It is. It's horrendous. But anyway, so she's saying, go on.
Well, it's just like.
Oh wait. I got to take back what I just said. Sorry, because I'm wrong. I've just read a bit ahead. So actually, she teaches them how to like play with the rats and stuff and be nice to them. But then she also teaches them how to decapitate them. So everything I just said, forget it. She's also a scumbag. My bad. I thought she was like bringing some nuance to it, but no, she's also a piece of shit. So sorry, what were you going to say?
It's decapitating them in a more compassionate way, though. So
fuck, these people are fucking. These people are just. Oh man.
But I don't get it, because like when you're testing on an animal, right? Like they're kept in cages, and then you take them out and you test on them, right? So, like if you're teaching someone to do that in a more compassionate way, like what is it going to be? Like petting the rat on the head while you cut open their stomach? Like as if that's going to make a difference to do you get what I mean? Like,
yeah, completely.
What do they even mean? Like, what does that mean? Do it in a more compassionate way? Like, I don't understand. Like, what difference does she think she's making?
No, mate, it's coping. All of it's coping. All of it's just pathetic, meaningless coping. It gets worse. It gets much worse. This is another one. She says, listen to this. Some Annika Kaiser, right? In her early years, she was involved with toxicology studies in various animals, helping assess lethal doses. The work gave her nightmares. By the way, helping assess lethal doses, so they were just dosing animals with toxic chemicals and seeing how much kills them. The work gave her nightmares. She dreamed about the animals hunting her down. She struggled to find support. I told myself when I retired, I'm going to dedicate my life to helping people deal with these feelings. Deal with these feelings? How about you devote your life to stopping this from happening? You dreamed about the animals coming to kill you in your nightmares. I hope you have nightmares for the rest of your life. I hope you wake up sweating and just terrified of being killed by these animals that you tortured and killed. I wish the worst on you. I absolutely do. I'm going to dedicate my life to helping the people with those feelings. What? It reads as if she was going to say, I want to dedicate my life to making sure that this stops happening to animals. No. I'm going to help people who abuse them to get over it. That's what I'm going to dedicate my life to. You piece of shit. Just complete trash. Complete trash.
Can I just point something out as well? Are you sharing the screen on the stream, or are you just reading?
Yeah.
So I don't know whereabouts in the article you are at the moment, because I kind of lost you. But at one point, they give an example of how they increase compassion, or like avoid compassion fatigue in the labs.
Right.
And so when the animals are going to be killed, they have a euthanasia date. And what they did is so they put stickers.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I was getting to it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's here, but continue. Yeah, it's on the screen now. So yeah, they go and finish your point. So I've got the sticker on the screen.
Yeah. So basically, I assume they put stickers like on the cage or whatever.
Yeah.
And what they've done to make it better, I mean, it's almost laughable, isn't it? Like,
it's there, man. This is something they can see it, dude.
If someone was going to parody this is what they would come up with.
Yeah.
The sticker is heart-shaped. Like,
yeah,
this is laughable. Like, these people should be laughed at for coming up with this.
Let me read this out. Dare to Care puts heart-shaped stickers noting planned euthanasia dates on cages, so workers who care for the animals are not blindsided, a major trigger for compassion fatigue. That's what it says underneath. Honestly, man.
I mean, like, I don't really know what to say about that, to be honest. Like, it's just
say it how it is, man. Don't even hold it back. They're scumbags. They deserve everything.
But it's also funny, just like the level of cope that they have. Like, oh, let's make the stickers heart shaped. Like, who are you? Like, I don't understand.
They've got this thing called Dare to Care, and it's they do therapy and stuff
as well.
Compassion Fatigue Initiative they've got, and basically they do this. They give them therapy and shit, and they bring them together and try and make them feel better and all this kind of stuff. And it's
not dare to stop the abuse. It's dare to care. like vaguely about this abuse that's going on, but not actually do anything about it. It's not even compassion fatigue; it's observation fatigue. Like they're just watching what's going. Well, it's not even
Some of them are
observation; they're doing it. Yeah, they're actually doing it.
Yeah. So I'm looking at this Dare to Care website. I'm going to bring it up. They've got
I mean,
or maybe it's not this one. This one has like adoption as well, but oh no, it's not that. I thought that was like no, that was a different website. No, what the fuck was so this one's animals, but it said something about adoption. So I'm wondering if it's like wait, animal research. Dare to Care animal research. It must be this one, yeah. Yeah, it's this one. Compassion in science, they're calling it. And it's these people to get together and they do therapy and make each other feel better and all that bullshit. Look, you know, here's what I think, man. Like that's pretty much the article. And as you can see, I think we've made it pretty clear why it's complete fucking nonsense. Yeah. Absolutely disgusting. Someone's asking for the link.
Emphasis
1 minute. I'll pop the. Sorry.
Well, you said nonsense. I said emphasis on the nonce.
Emphasis on the nonsense. Yeah. The article. Okay, I'll pop it. I'll pop it in the chat. I'm using something called 12-foot wall, which like gets it past the paywall in case there's a paywall. So you go. There's the link with that. So look, like compassion fatigue. People who rescue the animals from those people get compassion fatigue. People who have to take an animal from near death from a lab and get them back on their feet again, that's compassion fatigue, that they suffer from that. Those people, incredible people, the rescues, they deserve therapy, right? They need therapy. They deserve to be helped to feel better about what's going on, which is, it's obvious, right? But the people who do this to those animals, like I hope they suffer every day of their lives, every minute of every day of their lives while they're doing this. I hope what they call compassion fatigue, I hope it consumes them. I hope it ruins their sleep. It ruins their families. I hope it ruins their relationships. I hope it ruins their entire fucking lives while they're doing it, right? And we're talking about the farmers though, right? So, the slaughterhouse workers. I want to be clear on something that I would never wish that same level of disdain. I would never wish that on slaughterhouse workers, because there's a big difference to me. And see if you agree with me, Lawrence. Let me know if you agree on this, right?
Yeah.
I draw a difference here. Or farm workers, because farm workers and slaughterhouse workers, especially slaughterhouse workers, that's like shit pay, shit job. Nobody wants to do that kind of job. That's why you find in slaughterhouses, more often than not, it's immigrants from really poor communities. And yeah, it doesn't excuse what they're doing. It doesn't excuse what they're doing, but I can understand what they're doing, and I can understand why someone would take that job. Now, there are sickos who enjoy it, but I place my money on the fact that most of them, they learn to enjoy it, as in because they have to, because otherwise they'll go crazy, right? I don't think anybody goes in there and loves it. I think, not the majority at least, right? So I have more empathy for someone who's in such a bad position in life that they have to go and stab animals for 9 hours a day. They're not the victims by no means, but I understand the situation there. And it's like, right, all I wish for them is that they get out and find something better, do something better with their lives. Because those are people who are just, bottom of the barrel, right? I don't think it's fair to be like, I hope you get, that's not my vibe with those people. I just want them to get out of it and do something else. These people, Lawrence, they fucking study for this. They literally study and go through university to do exactly what they're doing in these labs. This isn't just a case of, I'm poor and this is the only thing I could get, and like, oh my God, I have all these problems because of it, and I have no choice really, and I'm just stuck and I need to pay rent. No. This is
they're like highly educated,
right?
Yeah.
And they're making a career out of this. They're making a career that's going to pay them a lot of money from abusing animals, right? So they know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly why they're doing it. They know they're going to get a lot of money from it. They know that they're going to get fame, maybe if they crack something, right, with their research. And they don't care how many animals they have to kill to get all of that. That's it, right? Fuck those guys. They don't deserve therapy. And I'll say it one more time for anyone that wants to clip this out and use it as evil vegans. I hope they suffer every single day of their lives with this stuff. I hope that Dare to Care thing goes to shit. I hope these people suffer. The only redemption, the only way they can redeem themselves is if they go vegan and start to campaign against what they've done. that's an option, and that's the only option that you. If you're someone watching this who tests on animals, that's your only option to redeem yourself. This dirt to cur bullshit isn't an option. This group therapy isn't an option. That's not going to cut it, and you know it won't cut it. I know it won't cut it because you'll know you're a scumbag at the bottom of your heart. So that's the only way. That's the only way to come back from this is to start to fix the problems you've caused and try to balance the scales by fighting for the animals that you've been abusing. That's what I think. What do you think?
Yeah. No, I get the difference you're talking about. It's kind of like the difference between some person in a tribe hunting an animal because they need to for food or whatever.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I still have my gripes with, but like it's on a different level to then someone like hunting, like the hunting you like fox hunting you get in this country, where it's just people going out intentionally doing it because they want to, because it, you know, it's they enjoy it or they get some personal benefit out of it. Like same sort of outcome for the animal, but the judgment of the person we do slightly differently because of their situation and their intentions.
Right.
And I think it's the same with this. Like these people, and often like the shit these people do to animals as well is just so, like these people in slaughterhouses, they're just like, I mean, some of them, you know, they get so fucked in the head that then they do like start abusing the animals because it's like they're out of frustration, they're trying to cope with their own shit or whatever.
Oh, the job destroys them.
Yeah.
You're stabbing animals 9 hours a day. Your ethics go out the window. You become a very different person, don't you?
Yeah. But like for these. For those people, it's like, okay, I've just got to like stab these animals. Let's just get it over with. But like I've listened to some animal testers speak, and it's like, I mean, some of them, like I watched an interview with Andrew Huberman, and he was saying he actually he's not vegan, so he hasn't, and he doesn't I don't think he campaigns against it, so I don't think he's redeemed himself. But he stopped testing on animals because he realized it's so fucked up. Yeah. But I've listened to other animal testers, who speak about it as if they enjoy it. It's like on some fucked up level they enjoy it. And when they speak about animal rights activists, they're like, oh, you know, why are these people trying to get us to stop this? Like talking about people who campaign against it with disdain.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
And it's just like, that sort of person who gets some sort of enjoyment out of it is like just scum.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It's not even, you're right, in a slaughterhouse, something you touched on there, the whole process is designed to be as fast as possible, as in, it's not, we know it doesn't really work that way a lot of the time, but it's in their best interests to get things done quickly, which means, you know, they want to they knock out the animal in whichever way they're going to do it, or they gas them or what, and you know, it's horrible. It's all horrible. But it's designed to get them through quickly, right? In animal testing, it tends to be very slow, methodical, over weeks or months or even years of just I don't know, stabbing them, injecting them, taking blood, giving them toxic things, giving them muscular dystrophy, giving them
psychological torment as well.
And psychological torment. It's not like we don't need to compare them, say, oh, which one's worse, but I would say that it takes more of a monster to be in animal testing than it does to work in a slaughterhouse. I would say that animal testers would probably love working in a slaughterhouse because it's so quick. They don't actually have to, you know, they don't have to go back they don't build a relationship with the animal. They don't need to go back and they don't need to really feed the animal, don't need to check they're okay. They don't need to, you know, inject them with stuff or stuff like that. No, all they need to do is just kill them. They probably love that. They're probably like, yeah, great. That's all I have to do. Awesome. That's so much better than what I've been doing for the past couple of years. That's how much of a monster these people are, that a slaughterhouse would be the preferable job for them. Just sick, man. Just next level sick.
Yeah.
Sick people.
Yeah. I just, I don't know. Like I used to be a lot more like angry as a vegan. Now I've sort of mellowed, and I do now try to be like compassionate with people, but some people I just can't, like,
these guys don't deserve compassion,
I just got no sympathy for
they don't
these
deserve
people.
compassion.
I can't.
Dude, they've chosen a career. Like, the thing is, you can have compassion for farmers in at times, because sometimes sometimes it's like a generations old farm, and they're very attached to it, and they don't want to, they can't change, they don't know how to change. Maybe they're a bit older, and they don't know how to modernize and do some different kind of mushrooms or something like that, or do some kind of fun. You can be like, oh, I empathize with you that you don't know how to change it and you're kind of stuck, and I don't agree with what you do and the animals come first, but I understand that you're in a shit situation and it's hard to change. And you can empathize with a farmer sometimes. You can empathize with these slaughterhouse workers who are poor, and you can empathize with the fact that, oh, maybe they think there's no other option, and you can try and help them. These guys, they have studied for and chosen a career in abusing animals to further themselves, to get themselves money, to get themselves fame, to get themselves acknowledgement, so they can do studies, so they get their name on a study, and get peer reviewed and be some kind of big shot or whatever, or some kind of, I don't know, successful scientist or something. And they've chosen to get there by literally stepping on the necks of mice and dogs and all different types of animals. These people are scum. And they convince themselves over and over, oh yeah, but it's for the greater good, it's for the greater good. I don't give a shit. It's for your own good, and you are scum. They can try and sell it off as much as they want. This is 2023. Maybe they could have gone away with this, I don't know, 50, 60 years ago, where, oh, we don't have the technology to do it any other way. And these advancements, they could have tried to justify it more back then. I think they would have had a better argument at least. Nowadays, no, now it's just laziness and just habit.
Well, and a couple of things, like if you wanted to work towards the greater good, there are other ways you can do that. It's not like, oh, I abuse animals or I just sit on my ass at home.
It's just like one or the other.
Yeah, there are a lot of things you can do to make the world a better place. And a couple of things about like animal testing generally. So there are like two observations that I would like to say I made, but I saw other people make them, and they, when someone encapsulates something and you're like, ah, fuck, that's a really good way of putting it. The thing with animal testing is like, they are either like us enough for the experiments to be worth it, or they're not, right? And if they are, if they're enough like us for the experiments to be worth it medically, then surely they're enough like us for it to be completely unethical as fuck.
Yeah.
Or they're not like us at all, so it's fine to do it to them. But then why are we doing the experiments?
Right.
Like, it just doesn't make sense. You get what I mean? Yeah. It's like they've got to be like us so much that experiments we do on them would be relevant to humans. But if they are, then they're clearly sentient beings that are going to feel exactly what's happening to them, just like a human would. It's not like if you push a knife into a mouse, they have a completely different experience. Like, sure, I'm not a mouse, but I don't think mice are so different from us that if you stab them, they're going to feel something massively different from us. Right. Like, it's going to be the same feeling. Like, they've got the same sort of nervous system. Yeah, exactly. Like, they got the same sort of nervous system. And then the other thing I saw someone say was George, Carnism Debunked.
Right.
So this will stroke his ego if he's watching. But he was saying, how people say, oh, well, we need to test on animals and it's okay because it's for the greater good, like it benefits humans, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe we can solve cancer or something like that. And George made the observation, again, I don't know if this was original to him or if he saw someone else make it, but he said, like, in what other circumstance do we allow the oppression to be justified because it benefits the oppressor?
Right.
Like, that's what every oppression is based on. Like, the fact
that's the whole point.
Yeah, that's the whole point of discrimination and oppression, that it benefits the person who's doing it. So you can't appeal to that like it's a justification.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's mad.
That's like appealing to, well, you know where I'm going immediately. There's loads of examples, but like, the best one we've got is with the ancient Roman slave trade. The ancient Roman slave trade, where they had slaves and they would say, yeah, but slavery's bad. These people are, they're people. Yeah, but I mean, look at the shit we can build. I mean, look at all these roads, man. Yeah. I mean, but they don't use the roads. Well, yeah, but they're the slaves. Like, I mean, of course they don't use the roads, but the roads are for us, so we can do all of our, campaigning and trying to take over the world. Yeah, but you're the oppressors, right? Yeah. So You know, yeah, like you said, it's not. Of course, the oppressors will justify what they're doing to the oppressed.
Like,
that's the whole
why
point
they're
of
doing
oppression.
it. Yeah,
unbelievable.
If it didn't benefit humans, we wouldn't be doing it.
Exactly.
So you can't say
if we didn't benefit the Roman Empire, we wouldn't be enslaving all these people.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's like, yeah.
I've got a couple of tips. Veganism. Thank you for the tip. It says, I'll start a black market child organ farm, and every time a child needs to be killed to have their organs stolen, I'll place a heart-shaped sticker on their pens with a harvest date. It's okay because the sticker is cute. Yeah, I mean, it's like some kind of messed up Matrix, the Matrix, you know, where they're in those like pods and they're using the humans as batteries. It's like the machines, because they start to get emotions for the humans and the batteries, so they're going to stick these little heart stickers on. So there's Thomas Anderson's one, so his sticker's there. Trinity's is here. Yeah, Morpheus is there. Just stick these stickers on. Yeah, hilarious. Such a cope. And Samira says, vivisection is vile and criminal. My vegan journey all began with co-founding an animal rights group against animal testing. That's amazing, Samira. Thank you. And thank you, Vegoons, for the tip as well. Thank you both. And I think a lot of people start getting into and understanding animal rights through, at least it used to be like that, through animal testing. People would come over, but it seems these days that everybody agrees like, oh, animal testing's bad, but they don't connect it with anything else. Which is which sucks, but it's kind of the same with fur, you know. Like, oh yeah, fuck fur, yeah. Oh yeah, sweet. So you care about animals, yeah. So you're gonna go vegan? Well, no, of course not. And it's like, okay,
don't be ridiculous.
Don't be ridiculous. Right. So we've got the video from Lily Veg, right? The was it no, Samira sent a video and said she wants us to talk about how plants are trying to kill us. You up for that?
Yeah, do we watch party it? Or?
Yeah, let me set that up. Man, I was seething when I first read that article. I was like, you cheeky fuckers.
You know what? I can tell a story. I can tell a story if you want while you're setting that up.
I mean, depends on how long and dry it is, because your stories can be either very entertaining or very dry.
Nah, fuck you. So basically, I don't know why, but like the form of animal exploitation that just like viscerally annoys me and like agitates me the most is horse riding. And I don't know why, because of like, out of all of the forms of animal exploitation, like they're not getting, well, I mean, a lot of horses do get killed when they're older, but like, do you get what I mean? On the severity scales, it's still wrong, but on the severity, like being a horse that's being ridden or being in a factory farm, they're kind of different ballparks, right? But like that form of animal exploitation, I don't know why, it just annoys me the most. So when I see someone like riding, I literally want to go up and like pull them off the horse. But so in 2019, I was walking down Whitehall, which is like a famous road with loads of political stuff on it in London, in the UK. And I was walking down, and there were like 3 police there lined up on horses, and I just like switched. I just saw these police on horse, and I just switched. So I went up to one of the police on one of the horses, and I said, this isn't going to be verbatim, but it was something like, "Oh, would you like? Do you think it's cool to be riding that horse? Do you?" And the police obviously not expecting someone.
Oh, fucking hell! He'll remember that for the rest of his life. He'll go home and be like, "This guy said, do you feel cool on the horse?" He'll go tell his mum. No, she's gonna have to help him. Oh, these bullies! What are these bullies saying to you out in the world? Go on.
So the police officer was like looked at me, assuming like I did not expect someone to come and mouth off at me about being on a horse, and I said, like, would you like to go through a process that's called breaking in? Because that's what these horses go through. And the police officer looked at me and said, "Is that a threat?" And I said, obviously not. I'm not stupid enough to go up and threaten a police officer in broad daylight while there's 2 more of you, all 3 on horses. I'm just saying, like, you put these horses through a process called breaking in. Like, do you think that's like do you think that's a nice process to be called like that? Like, would you want to go through that process yourself? I don't think so. And then I could feel that I was about to get arrested, so I walked off.
Maybe he thought you were coming on to him.
I'm going to break you in, son.
Maybe he was like, maybe it wasn't. Is that a threat? Maybe it was like, oh, is that a threat?
That's right. Threaten me again. Threaten me harder.
Oh man, sorry. I just had to like. It's just such an interesting interaction. Yeah.
But it annoys me so much, and I know it wasn't wise to do because I could have gotten arrested for that. It was a stupid thing to do. But
no, it wasn't. You can't get it. You fucking. What kind of state? What kind of country do you live in? Where if you
get arrested for all sorts of shit.
Right. I know it's ridiculous though. England's fucking crazy with that. Like you go over to a police officer and have a conversation about him riding a horse, and you could be threatened to be arrested for talking about the horse. That's so dumb, man. What have we allowed ourselves to get into? Honestly, well, not me. I mean, well, to be fair, it's much worse in Turkey. I'd probably get arrested just for saying hello to a police officer. Yeah, they're pretty bad here.
Yeah, walking outside with a picture of Muhammad on your t-shirt. Fucking
if Annie shows too much knee, we both get arrested. No, it's not. It's not like that here. It's quite liberal. But this video, by the way, is like 30 minutes long. So. I don't know what kind of video it is, so we'll check it out. And if it seems like it's a bit much for us to get into, like if it's a proper lecture or something, we're gonna have to stop, all right? Because it's obviously not. Yeah, but I think I've made all that pretty clear. I'm gonna send it to you, Lawrence, now in the chat.
On what, Discord? Or...
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
We will start it as Samira did tip, and therefore, we honor that. This is how we are, guys. It's not what we planned today, but if you've got ideas, if you've got stuff you want us to look at, videos maybe, or another article you want us to look at today, tip it. Use a Streamlabs tip right there in the pinned comment, or use a super chat, and we will take a look.
Yeah, we're happy to
go off script. Okay, yeah, you ready to go then? Yeah.
Yep.
All right, I need to load it up. Actually, 1 minute. Shit. Oh no. I didn't prepare the video section. 1 minute. I'm just gonna like move you over a little bit because I wasn't expecting to watch videos with you today actually. But okay, I think we're good. All right, let's move that over here.
You think this is getting plants are trying to kill? You think this is one of these like what do they call it? They call it like anti-nutrients sort of thing. Like
I don't know.
People who say
I genuinely don't have a clue. I'm pretty sure. No, I mean I have somewhat of a clue actually. I'm pretty sure I glanced at it, but I just can't remember what I saw. You know, it's like I'm pretty sure I had a quick look at the transcript, I think, but I just can't remember exactly what it was talking about. But we can watch it now. Let's see. All right. Oh fucking. Okay, let's watch. Okay, it's a good start. Digging that. I'm digging this intro.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that kind introduction. Thank you all for having me.
Say again. What'd you say?
I just said, really, are we watching the same video?
What video are you watching?
I don't know. It was just like a PowerPoint came up and there was some like fine English music or whatever.
Yeah, yes, we're watching the same video. I was enjoying the musical intro to it. Is that a problem?
I don't know. Didn't realize.
I know who this guy is, by the way.
I didn't know you were like that.
I know who this guy is. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think he's like a carnivore guy. And it's
really?
funny. I've made a video about. I've made a funny video mocking him. Let me just check if it's the same guy, and if it is, we'll have to pause, and I'll show you the video that I'm gonna post soon because it's him. I'm pretty sure it's him. Okay, wait. Let's see.
The title of my talk is "Plants Are Trying to Kill You," which of course is a very provocative title, and is meant to be. But it's trying to make people think about. Obviously this community knows full well about the danger of carbohydrates, how this just changes us metabolically and physically and biologically, can cause a lot of harm. But we need to remember as well that there are other chemicals and toxins that exist in the food that we eat that can also cause harm. So let's take a think about this. Okay, so just botany 101, plants are living organisms and they like to stay living organisms. If you eat them, they die. And so they have defenses just like any other living organism. And while animals can run away or fight back, plants can't. And so they use a lot of different things, but poison is one of their main deterrents. They use these defense chemicals to poison the animals that are trying to eat them. And they have hundreds of different ones geared towards different animals, insects, and pathogens that are trying to eat them. This is why most plants in the world are inedible. We sort of know this intuitively. If you got lost in the woods here and you ran out of food, you wouldn't be able to eat any random plant. Most of them would make you very sick. I don't think anyone is going to be able to spot the vegetables in this picture, right? So you have to know exactly what to eat. And the reason is because there are these defense chemicals. So here are just a few sort of categories of the ways that plants defend themselves. They use lectins. It's something people are gaining more interest in, but there's tons of different kinds of lectins. There's 2,500 different plants use cyanide that we know of. There's different various toxins, phytates, tannins, oxalates, hormone disruptors, nutrient blockers, things that make you very sensitive to light, and nightshades we've known about for thousands of years, and yet for some reason we're still eating these things. So again, just as Botany Biology 101, I literally learned this in 7th grade, that plants and animals are in an evolutionary arms race. Plants becoming more and more poisonous, so less and less animals can eat them, so that they can survive and thrive. And animals becoming more and more adapted to the specific poisons in specific plants, so that they can eat that plant and survive and thrive. And
I just want to pause for a second and say, like, you know, I don't know where he's going here, but if he's trying to claim that, you know, plants are just incredibly poisonous and we're all at risk, then why are the hospitals not full of people dying from plant poisoning? Why are they not full of vegans? Vegans who eat solely plants. Why are the hospitals not full of us dying of poisoning, of severe poisoning? Instead, they're dying of heart disease, they're dying of cancer, dying of diabetes, all of which have been linked to the more standard diets. So if put it this way, if it's a choice between A, killing innocent animals and torturing them and slicing their throats and then eating them and then having higher chances of heart disease, cancer, and diabetes, versus B, not paying for them to have their throats slit and not funding any of those disgusting industries, but having a bit of a risk of, I don't know, plants poisoning me, but not cancer, heart disease, and diabetes, but plant poisoning, then I don't even know what that means. I hope he's going to describe what this looks like. Or what does plant poisoning look like? Like, what exactly is going to happen to us, Lawrence, if we keep on eating plants?
Yeah, but also as well, like, what he's saying, I don't know if he's just being like overly general, but what he's saying is just not true as well. Like, there are thousands, if not millions, of plants out there that actively want to be eaten, at least in part. Like, has he ever heard of fruit? Like, literally, the way that these plants, these species reproduce is by part of them being eaten.
Right,
and then
right.
the seeds being distributed, right? So yeah. I don't know if he's just like, if he's got, I don't know if he's just eating too much meat and he's got like learning, like, or like he's just got mental deficiencies now. But like, what he's saying is just not what.
Sorry, what I just said then, I told you that I think it's the guy I've mocked. It is that guy. I'm going to show you what I've done. Oh, this is so funny. I didn't know he was a doctor. That makes this so much fucking funnier. Oh, man. Should I do it now so we can like laugh the rest of his video, basically? Because trust me, guys. Oh my God. So I came across his video and I was like, I've got to make this skit of this. I've got to make a skit of this, right? So I did. I'm going to load it up. I'm going to give you a separate link, Lawrence, to load up. Here you go. Here's the separate watch party. It's so fucking funny. I think it's hilarious. Obviously, it's my skit, so I'm biased. But let's see what people think. I can't believe it's him. That's why I'm laughing so much. I'm like, oh my God, he's a doctor.
Wait, you've sent the same link twice.
Oh, wait, what? That's not possible. Oh, wait, all right. Let me just make a new watch party then. 1 minute, completely. I thought I'd made a new one. My bad. All right, here you go. New watch party. There you go. Right, let's pull this up. How do I show you guys? Because it's a private video. I think I can do it. Yeah. Oh, man. All right. Oh, no, it's going to have to be... Okay, yeah, no, I can fix this. Yeah. It's worth it, guys. Maybe not.
Just unlist
I have unlisted it. I've unlisted it, yeah.
Oh, right, yeah, because it's not... Let me just refresh the page, but it's coming
There's
up
nothing there yet. I know. Oh, it looks like this isn't a media file. What does that even mean? Can I, like... Yeah, it is a media file. What are you fucking talking about, man? Copy. Link address. Let's go.
Maybe it doesn't work with unlisted
it
stuff.
Doesn't work with shorts, maybe. Fuck. How do I do this? All right, hold up. Here's what... No, I don't know. Fuck. I want to show everyone this.
Just send, like, you guys can watch it on the stream. Just send me the actual link to the short and I'll just watch it on my phone.
All right, so here's the link to there you go. You can have the link there to you, and then I will show everybody else okay. But we'll have to try and time this. I don't know if it's gonna work.
Yeah, just count down.
All right, wait. I've tried to pause it as soon as it starts. All right, so this is it. Okay, I've got it loaded up here. All right. Okay, wait. Let's just make this a bit bigger for a minute. All right. Okay. You guys ready? Okay, here he is. A fucking bellend. All right, all right.
Tell me when you're going to start it.
I'm going to start it in 3, 2, 1, click.
So if you're getting diarrhea on a carnivore diet, you have there's generally about 3 things that you need to think about.
Look, I'm just waiting for my friend to finish trying on this t-shirt, man.
Are you still drinking coffee? That's a laxative.
Yeah, no offense, but I'm not really interested in talking about diarrhea, all right?
Are you using artificial sweeteners? Those are definitely laxatives.
Dude, can you hurry up? There's this guy here won't stop talking to me about diarrhea.
And then if you're not doing that, if you're just doing meat and water, then you're probably eating more fat than your body can absorb.
All right, thanks. Eat a vegetable, dude.
So if you're getting diarrhea on a diet, you're sort of...
Why is he sat there? Like, why is he like sat like this? Why is he like looking up at the camera and like he's sat in a changing room? You know what I mean? It's that I just watched it and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And it's also the stutter. Listen to how he stutters as well in the beginning. He's like,
about 3 things.
He's like, he like staggers his speech at the beginning. He's like, if you've got diarrhea on the carnivore diet.
Well, it's maybe because he's got diarrhea.
It's just the weirdest fucking video I've ever seen. And I had to do it. I had to skit it. Oh man, what a weirdo. Oh man. That one was like, it's more for me, that one. That was like I really enjoyed it because I was like, this guy is just such a creep. And now he's here giving like some kind of keynote lecture. Like he's some kind of, he's like a neuroscientist I read earlier. I was like,
really?
Yeah, some shit. All right, let's see what he's got to say for a little bit more. And then we can just, you know, I mean, the guy's sat in a fucking Primark changing room talking about diarrhea. So I don't think we need to take him seriously, but we can try for a little bit longer.
Where they get their dedicated food resources, just like koalas and pandas, they eat a very specific diet. They eat other plants, they will get very sick. The way I came to the way of eating that I do, which is really just meat and water, is 22 years ago when I was taking cancer biology at the University of Washington in Seattle. We went over how plants use defense chemicals in order to defend themselves. We were looking at this from a cancer perspective, so we were looking at carcinogens. And we learned 20 years ago that Brussels sprouts alone had over 136 identified human carcinogens in them. And that just, white, yeah, I'm telling you, this is why kids, no one likes Brussels sprouts, right? You know? And that's why, right? That bad taste, that bitter taste.
Wait. How many carcinogens did he just say Brussels sprouts had in them?
126.
That's oh, come on. That I'm not having that at all. That can't be right. What do you think? Brussels?
I mean, it doesn't sound right to me, but
carcinogens.
To me it's just like what he's saying doesn't seem to map onto reality. Like if you just look,
mate, I have no idea
who's in the hospital, about. Who's having health problems, stuff like that. People who eat a whole food plant-based diet are not the people filling up hospitals, right? And on average, my understanding is that they're healthier.
Mate, he's an idiot. Listen to this. I've got here the Brussels sprouts and cancer prevention, American Institute for Cancer Research. Brussels sprouts pack fiber and are filled with nutrients and phytochemicals with the potential to stave off cancer. So, okay, that's pretty insane then. So the Harvard University says there's no evidence that they have anti-cancer effects. But it says, just have a look.
Yeah, but all of these organizations are funded by Big Brussels.
Obviously, so. Big Brussels. No direct evidence that Brussels sprouts have anti-cancer effects in humans, but they've suggested they may increase the risk of pancreatic cancer. While we wait for further evidence, it makes sense to eat them no more than once a week. So that's Harvard.
I mean, no one's eating them more than once a week anyway. People eat them once a year, and we know what day that's on.
Yeah. So, okay, there's a bit more here then. It's weird that the Cancer Association was like, yeah, eat them, all good. So wait, what? So new research has linked a compound found in Brussels sprouts, broccoli, and other cruciferous vegetables to one of the body's most potent tumor-suppressing genes. Linked to a tumor-suppressing gene, so that means it's good then. So
is it suppressing the gene or is it
suppressing the tumor suppressing gene? Okay, if it suppresses the gene, then yeah, that's bad. It says the research also highlights the chemical warfare that goes on inside the body as it struggles to prevent tumors from developing, even as tumors themselves fight to grow and spread. Forget what you think about science, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to figure this out. So they did some computer models and shit, and right. So no, it seems like they found something in those vegetables that helps. I think
it helps?
So listen, yeah, it's a protecting compound known to science, thought to have anti-cancer properties. It occurs naturally in Brussels sprouts, arugula, cabbage, kale, and cauliflower. They've been studying for the cancer-fighting properties. So they're looking at those vegetables. So yeah, that's one. That was from 2019. So here's one called, it's a Medium article called "How Many Ways Can a Brussels Sprout Kill You?"
Is it by him?
No, it's by someone else. It says Brussels sprouts are right up there with toilet paper and underpants. You're more likely to die while eating a Brussels sprout than when reading the Da Vinci Code. It's just a joke, this one. Okay. But yeah, okay. Cancer fighting food feature, Brussels sprouts. This is the National Foundation for Cancer Research. So, and now this
you know what it could be is
what?
like, you know how people say like soy gives you man boobs because it's got estrogen in, but
Yeah.
it's actually phytoestrogen. It's probably one of them. Like he's probably just found all these compounds where he's like, oh, these compounds, they seem carcinogenic. But it's just like, okay, well, I mean, are we seeing people get cancer from eating these things? Like,
Right.
I've never heard of it. I mean, I know I'm not like the fountain of all knowledge, but like, I've never heard of Brussels sprouts being linked with cancer.
Yeah, it seems like they're for fighting cancers, people. But yeah, let's maybe, I don't know. Let's see where he goes from here. This seems pretty wild so far.
Is your brain and your tongue, which are sophisticated machines, and they can tell you like, hey, this is bad for you, spit it out. So if and that's what we would normally naturally do as a kid. So you give an infant a piece of broccoli, they will hate you for it. You give them a piece of bacon, and their eyes light up, right?
Oh my God.
That's the same with ice cream.
Oh my God!
The kids' eyes light up if they eat ice cream.
Ice cream, chocolate, donuts, soda, cocaine. Like literally, there's so many things you could give a kid and watch their eyes light up. Literally light up if you gave them cocaine. They'd be like, woo! You shouldn't give them more of it.
Let's get on it.
Unbelievable, man. And he was dead serious. That wasn't even a joke. He was dead serious about that point. Oh, man. Amazing.
What a spanner.
What a spanner. This is a doctor. Oh, my God. Anyone can be a doctor these days, can't they? Anyone can get that, qualification and just go out into the world and chat shit. It's like, honestly, these days, sometimes I wonder, has the name, like doctor, title doctor, has it become meaningless? It's just like when everyone calls everyone a racist and then racism means nothing anymore. It's the same thing. It's like, oh, he's a doctor and that's a doctor and this is also a doctor. That's a doctor. And these doctors are saying, oh, just eat meat and water. Like the word becomes meaningless when it's just used like for these people, I think. Man.
So we were learning that white cap mushrooms had over 100 known carcinogens, but also spinach, kale, lettuce, celery, cabbage, cucumber, broccoli, literally given pages and pages of every plant that you've ever come across in a grocery store. And not a single one.
Yeah, go on.
Mushrooms aren't even in the plant kingdom, so I don't know what he's on there.
This is mad. This is mad.
Had less than 60 known human carcinogens in them. They were quite abundant. We have research from Professor Bruce Ames from Berkeley in the 1980s that actually went into this, which we'll go on to in a minute. We were quite taken aback by this, obviously. We were very, very shocked, as some of you may be right now. And I remember thinking in my head, like, well, but vegetables are still good for you though, right? And our professor must have just read our minds. He looked at us like, you guys aren't getting this. And he just said, I don't eat salads. I don't eat vegetables. I don't let my kids eat vegetables. Plants are trying to kill you. So I was like, right, forget plants. And I just stopped. And you go to the grocery store and everything has plants, right? Everything's either is plants or has plants in the ingredients. And I just walked around and I just came across it's eggs and meat. And I'm like, okay, I'll just eat eggs and meat. And that's what I did for a number of years and had massive health benefits. I was playing professional rugby while in university, and my athletic performance, as well as just my physical health, just increased dramatically. It was just night and day difference.
Such bullshit. He's so... He's just chatting shit. Like, so this is all anecdotal. His professor was giving him stories, and now he's got a story. So what? It means nothing, you know.
And it's like we don't know what he was eating before. Do you get what I mean?
Also,
like,
yeah, it could have been eating lots of processed stuff. Could have been eating bad. Yeah, it could have been eating lots of processed crap, and then he cut out all the processed crap, and then he got better. He got more, you know, athletic or whatever. It's
like a lot
possible.
Yeah, like a lot of people when they change diets and feel much better, it could just be not that they are starting to eat something that is making them feel better. It could just be that there's like one thing, like say someone might have a gluten intolerance and they go carnivore diet, and it's actually just they've gotten rid of gluten.
Yeah,
and that's why they feel better, you know, rather than actually being on a carnivore diet.
Exactly.
And again, still feeling those positive results 22 years later. So that's the thing, is that most plants will kill most animals. So it's not that some plants are poisonous, some aren't. It's that all plants are poisonous. It's just that certain animals have evolved the ability to defend themselves against specific plants. But if they eat other plants, they will get sick or even die. So you have pandas and koalas, right? They eat a very specific diet. It's very, very monotonous in nature. They don't have this big, broad range of things that they eat. They eat very specific things. You know, there's 340,000 species of plant in the world. Koalas eat one. Pandas eat one. Cows, horses, grazing animals eat grasses. And they only eat specific grasses. And then the leaves that a giraffe eats are different from the leaves that a gorilla eats. Those are different from the leaves that a deer eats, and so on. And if you mix those leaves around, they all get sick or die. There are symbiosis between plants and animals. Obviously, this is an evolutionary trend in the ecosystem. You have animals co-evolving with plants. You get all the Great Plains and grasslands have evolved with the big grazing animals. They work together symbiotically. But also, you can look at fruits. We think, well, fruit, the plant wants you to eat them. Like, well, maybe not. They want something to eat them, but not necessarily you, because certain animals, when they ingest these seeds, those seeds will germinate in their intestine, and that will spawn this plant. So a good example of that is cassowary bird here in Australia and elsewhere, and they eat about 150 different berries and fruits, and those will all kill you. And they will kill basically any other animal that eats them, because those plants want the cassowary bird to eat them, because those seeds will not germinate if they don't go through a cassowary bird first. And so if the cassowary birds leave an area, those plants and trees will die off. And you know, we have this saying, like, don't eat the red berries. This is something that people knew identifies like the red berries, like don't eat those, right? So most fruits are still actually going to be toxic to humans. So this is the...
Wait. So whoa. That was some jump. That was a huge jump.
Raspberries, cranberries, they're red berries.
Well, he's committed a fallacy, a massive fallacy. He's like, oh, these red berries, we know not to eat those red berries because they're poisonous. See, they're all trying to kill us. Well, that's a bit of a jump, mate. There's one specific berry that you've pointed out that, yes, will kill you, but that doesn't mean every single plant on Earth is toxic and is going to kill you. That's such a jump. Like it's what grifters do. Basically, they grift based on truth. Like, there's something that's true, and then they expand it out to try and make a bigger point. That's the grift. The initial point, the red berries, yes, that's good. You're right, and then the rest of it, bullshit. I don't know what he's about to go into here, but it looks like some kind of study
from Professor Bruce Ames from Berkeley. This was published in 1989, and he showed that just the natural plants and vegetables contain 10,000 times more naturally occurring pesticides by weight than the industrial pesticides that we were using on them.
That's not a study, right?
No, it looks like an article, but I guess it's referencing a study.
Yeah.
What was his claim just now? Hold up.
Professor Bruce Ames from Berkeley. This was published in 1989, and he showed that just the natural plants and vegetables contain 10,000 times more naturally occurring pesticides by weight than the industrial pesticides that we were using on them.
Natural pesticides. What does that mean exactly? You mean it means their defense systems? Go ahead.
Well, like we spray chemicals and other things on plants so that pests like insects or whatever, you know, will not go near the plant. He's saying they just have naturally occurring chemicals that will make pests not go near them and eat them.
Right. I mean, the study he's referencing, I've got it here now. It's an article, not a study.
Yeah. It looks like The Scientist.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like the name of a journal.
No. I'm going to try and get through it with this paywall remover thing to see what it actually says. No, I couldn't get it. Yeah, I don't know. I can't. It's paywalled, so I can't go and actually read what he's talking about. But let's just. All right, whatever. Let's see.
and that they were orders of magnitude times more likely to cause cancer than the industrial pesticides, in this case, ALAR, which they were looking at specifically. They were trying to actually
I've got it.
get it banned, and they were saying, we got to get rid of this, this is poison, and it is. Spinach is worse.
Oh my God. Right. We've got to look at that study that he's talking about. Okay. Let me see if I can find it from somewhere else. I'm just going to.
Like all of this stuff that he's saying about all these plants having like carcinogenic properties, etc., and like how plants are trying to kill you. Like the thing I just don't get is like, but the majority of calories that we eat are from plants, and we have been doing like the majority of calories that have ever been eaten have been from plants, and people have been living into their 70s, 80s, 90s, over 100. Like. I don't get it. Like it doesn't seem like it's. Do you get what I mean? Like it just doesn't seem like it's having an impact. And people could say, "Oh, well, we've been eating meat for all that time as well," and so you could say meat doesn't have an impact. But one, meat hasn't been the majority of our diet, and also, okay, we're living long, but look who's in the hospitals. It's all meat gobblers, isn't it? So it's like.
I've got it. I've got it, by the way.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, this is so. Right. So, where's this thing about carcinogens? Like, what was he saying that they're more likely to cause cancer? That's the bit I want to know about. This is an article. Like, this is not a study. This is an article, and it's referencing other work, but like. I don't understand what he was trying to show here. Okay, here we go. Wait. It's down at the bottom here. So an earlier important perspective on relative risk was reported in 1981 paper by the Journal of National Cancer Institute. It was a study of avoidable cancer risks. 40 cancers that were attributed to various lifestyles. And they found that the combined effects of environmental factors, food additives, toxic chemicals in the workplace, air and water pollution, industrial products was 7% of the cancer deaths, but the combined effects of lifestyle factors, including alcohol, diet, and smoking, were 70%. Okay, so where's the specific bit about, where's this claim in this here that he was talking about? Okay, plant toxins. Of the 42 plant toxins so far tested on lab animals, 20 have been shown to be carcinogens. He says here. And we ingest 10,000 times more natural pesticides by weight than synthetic pesticides. But okay, so they're testing on lab animals. He has just specifically made the claim in his video that different animals can tolerate different toxins, and to some animals it's not toxic and to others it is. So if they're testing on lab animals, okay, which animals then? He's just pointed out how these birds can eat this that's toxic, but if any other animal eats it, it's not toxic. It is if this bird eats the berry, it's not toxic, but if any other animal eats that berry, it is toxic. So you see, we're all differently geared or whatever, right? Okay then, but now in this study, they're testing on non-human animals. So his point should stand here. He should be able to throw this out then by his own logic. Do you understand? Like he's shot himself in the foot, and that's the only bit. It doesn't say anything about people dying of more cancer than from that. That's not in here.
Yeah, and also with the natural pesticides thing, it's the same thing with like the phytoestrogens. Like they might be in a form where it just doesn't impact the health of humans.
The guy's absolutely full of shit. I mean, I've got his reference up or his source up, and it doesn't even support what he's saying. So.
He at that point identified 42 different toxins that existed in just a plethora of different
tested in rats.
I mean, in the article, you'll see it's just every single plant that would exist in the produce aisle was there, and 42 toxins, 20 of which were shown to be carcinogenic in mice. Fast forward 11 years later, when I took cancer biology, we already know about 136 just in Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, in which animal? Now we're getting to the point of where his bullshit comes in. Which animal? Because yes, something might be toxic to a mouse or a rat or a dog. For example, chocolate, and it's not toxic to us. So it means nothing.
Yeah, but he could, like, if he was actually going to represent what it says, because he's written it accurately on the slide, but he's doing this sleight of hand with how he says it verbally. Right. And he knows that people will take what he's saying verbally rather than what's on the slides, because people just pick up, because you have the tone of voice, you have a human voice, like people just latch onto it more, right? Generally. And basically what what he's saying is so if he was to stand there, do the talk and say carrots are poisonous to rats. Okay. Okay, how's that relevant to us?
Like, that
all right, cool
sucks
story,
to be
bro.
a rat. Sucks to be a rat.
It's like, okay, what?
Yeah, totally, man.
So there's more. So even though we've talked about today about the WHO pushing fake meat and lab meat and all these sorts of things, they still have a page that you can look up that all talks about all the natural poisons that are in plants. And this natural toxins in food, as they call it, does not talk about anything that exists in actual meat, except for the aquatic biotoxins. But this is from algae, the shellfish and fish that eat the algae, and that can make that toxic. But this is why you avoid things that are infested in that area. They talk about all sorts of different things like cyanides, coumarins, lectins, solanine, mycotoxins, and much more. They talk about poisonous mushrooms as well. Think about this. We eat mushrooms, but there are over 10,000 varieties of mushrooms in the world. How many of those don't kill you on the spot or give you a religious experience, right? There's like 5, right? And yet we think...
That was pretty funny. I got to give him that.
Because these 5 don't give us an acute stage reaction of that nature, that not only are they safe, but good for you, which I think is a bold assumption to take with your health.
Well...
What?
That's so ridiculous. So because we've established that there are some things that grow in the wild that are harmful to us and some that aren't, assuming that the ones that aren't harmful are good for us is wrong because what? Because what? Logic? But what logic? Because feelings is probably more it. Because I feel like that doesn't make sense. I mean, so that's kind of like, okay, hold up a minute. That's kind of like saying if, wait. Oh, let me get this straight. It's like if someone has spent their whole life and, I'll put it into a human context in like an example that I think makes sense, where it's like they always meet certain people from a certain country tend to be mean to them. And then they meet someone who is the kindest person they've ever met and loving and doesn't have any of the signs of all those mean people from that same country. It's like saying, oh, but they're probably going to be mean still at some point, and I still won't trust them because their country, so many other people from that place are mean. It's like it's illogical. It's just feelings based. It's just, you know what I mean? It's not based in being rational and judging the individual. That's kind of what he's doing here. It's like, well, loads of mushrooms can kill you or give you a religious experience. Therefore, these mushrooms can't be healthy. The ones that are fine to eat. It's like, it's just your feelings. It's all it is. It doesn't mean anything. It's not like the mushrooms are all talking and trying to figure out how to get in our bodies. Like, I don't know, like The Last of Us or something. They're like, do you see my point? That might have been a weird analogy, but do you get what I'm trying to get at? It's like a really weird jump in logic, is what I'm saying.
I mean, I feel like he destroyed his own argument because he admitted there are a select few mushrooms that make you trip, right?
Right.
So he's already admitted that a select few mushrooms can have a certain feature that others don't.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So why is it so far to say that a select few mushrooms are edible for humans, but the majority aren't?
It's so strange, man. Yeah.
He's already said it with the magic mushrooms, but he just so he's admitting magic mushrooms will exist, but edible mushrooms can't.
Right.
Right. I don't.
But mushrooms
get it.
that are nutritionally advantageous, they can't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
But magic
they
ones
can't
can.
Exist,
yeah. Good one. What a bell end. Samira says, thank you for the tip. Says, thank you guys. You're making me laugh so hard. I love your perspective on things and how well you debunk things. Thank you, Samira. We're doing our best. We're not scientists, but we can spot bullshit. So I think we're good at that. And Boris, thank you so much for the tip, mate. Says, loggers are 20 times more likely to die on the job than the average worker. Of course, plants are out to kill us. Oh, good one. Good one. That's more logical than anything this guy has said.
No, that's just Mother Nature resisting, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's just the trees resisting human oppression.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. By the way, dude, you keep moving over. When you move where you are now, your face is behind the video. Just FYI.
Oh,
so,
really?
you want to stay where you are now.
Stay here.
Yeah. That's the best place for you.
Right.
Yeah. Cool. Let's get back in then.
See, like the natural toxins can cause a variety of adverse health effects and pose a serious health threat to both humans and livestock. Some of these toxins are extremely potent. These are all things that we eat all the time. They give examples of these things. Adverse health effects can be acute poisoning, ranging from allergic reactions to severe stomach ache and diarrhea, and even death. Long-term consequences include effects on the immune, reproductive, or nervous systems, and also cancer. So, speaking earlier today about the effects of the mitochondria on cancer.
Okay, 1 minute. Let's
Hang
go.
on, wait. Can you go back? Yeah.
Yeah. I want to go to see what his source is.
Yeah, well, because the first bullet point is some natural toxins can be formed in food as defense mechanisms of plants through their infestation with toxin-producing mold. Right? So it's the mold that's producing it, not the plant.
This guy is an ultimate numpty. Just the biggest clown. Let's pull up. It's here. I've got it. Right. I've got the whole thing here. Natural toxins in food. Yeah, key facts. Some natural toxins can be formed in food as defense mechanisms of plants through their infestation with toxin-producing mold or through ingestion by animals of toxin-producing microorganisms. Okay, they can cause these toxins, given what was said earlier, can cause a variety of adverse health effects. So yeah, if it's the toxin infestation with toxin-producing mold, or through ingestion by animals of toxin-producing microorganisms, then they can cause these problems. Yeah, like all the things he said.
But also, like you can neutralize the toxins, right? Like if you eat a raw potato, you're going to be poorly.
Right.
But if you cook the potato, you're not.
Well, let's have a look at what it says here about that. It's going through all the different things. Here we go. How can I minimize the health risk from natural toxins? When it comes to natural toxins, it's important to note that they can be present in a variety of different crops and foodstuff. In a usual balanced, healthy diet, the levels of natural toxins are well below the threshold for acute and chronic toxicity. To minimize the health risk from natural toxins in food, people are advised to not assume that if something is natural, that it's automatically safe. Okay, good advice. Throw away bruised, damaged, or discolored food, and particularly moldy foods, throw them away. Throw away any food that does not smell or taste fresh or has an unusual taste, and only eat mushrooms or other wild plants that have definitely been identified as non-poisonous. Pretty sensible information. It's phenomenal that he's trying to use this for his agenda. When it's like,
and he's turned it into like Day of the Triffids.
It's fucking hilarious, man. This guy is a complete joke. I never expected this to be so easy to debunk. I thought this was going to be difficult because, you know, it seems like some pro talk or something. What an embarrassment this guy is.
Health effects and pose a serious health threat to both humans and livestock. Some of these toxins are extremely potent. These are all things that we eat all the time. They give examples of these things. Adverse health effects can be acute poisoning, ranging from allergic reactions.
Let's go forward.
All of those carcinogens in plants damage your mitochondria. So going into some of the specific categories, such as lectins. Lectins are protein that exists in many different plants. They have a bunch of different functions. They actually have lectins in animal meat as well, but they don't seem to cause any harm. Lectins, these are probably developed.
That's convenient, huh? Dick.
Antipathogenic. They're very old, and so probably against pathogens and insects, but there's obviously a lot of cross-reaction with other forms of life. These are proteins that can bind to carbohydrates, and so they can bind to carbohydrates.
Can we just pause?
Yep.
But also, he's just admitted as well. So he said that lectins are poisonous.
Yeah.
But if you eat them from animals, they don't seem to do any harm.
Yeah.
So he's just admitted there that there can be things labeled as poisonous that actually don't do any harm to us for some reason.
Well, I mean, we can just dive into his lectins bullshit right now.
Like, I don't even know if lectins are poisonous. Like, to be honest, I don't even know what a lectin is. But
I'm going to read it out now. Here we go. Lectins. Many types of beans contain toxins called lectins, and kidney beans have the highest concentrations, especially red kidney beans. As few as 4 or 5 raw beans can cause severe stomachache, vomiting, and diarrhea. Lectins are destroyed when the dried beans are soaked for at least 12 hours and then boiled vigorously for 10 minutes in water. Tinned kidney beans have already had this process applied and so can be used without further treatment. So there you go. Just don't eat raw beans like a fucking idiot. There you go. Sorted. Easy. Next.
Yeah.
Surface of your cells, and this is something that's been researched more and more. Dr. Paul Mason has a really good lecture on just lectins that he's done at a previous low carb down under venue, and then people like Paul or Dr. Gundry wrote an entire book called The Plant Paradox, talking about how toxic lectins are, and then concluded that you should eat a plant-based diet, which I don't think I would come to that same conclusion. So, we talk about a lot of carbohydrates here, how that can affect insulin, how hyperinsulinemia can cause all sorts of different problems. But what we don't necessarily know about is that certain lectins can actually bind to your insulin receptors and bind them more tightly than insulin and cause a greater insulinogenic effect. And also,
we've already been through all of that though, right? So I can't confirm or deny any of this stuff. But
hang on. He's talking about lectins.
Yeah.
And in those diagrams, it's leptins.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's not even the same thing. Unless they are the same thing, but they're different spellings.
The key difference between leptin and lectin is that leptin is a hormone secreted by fat cells, while lectin is a plant protein that has the ability to bind with carbohydrates. He's completely... Oh, no.
Yeah, they're different compounds.
He's completely different. Oh, that is embarrassing.
This guy's definitely got something going on up in the... skull cavity.
Unless it's just a typo. I mean, he could be talking about something completely different here.
No, he is talking about lectins because I see the word lectin be brought up by carnivore people all the time.
I know,
but it's probably the case that lectins aren't really an issue because we could either cook the food or whatever. But I think he is maybe trying to make out that they have the same negative impact as leptins.
Mate, this is like a little bit, I need to properly research this, but from what I'm seeing here, leptins, it says here they increase insulin sensitivity. So, I mean, is that what he's trying to say here? Like, binds to insulin receptors, body stores fat. Leptins, upper insulin, body store fat. Let's see if it comes up and we can find that exact thing he's looking at. The role of leptin in the control of insulin glucose axis. Let's hold up. I'm looking at some stuff here and to see if this thing he's just got it all wrong or something. I don't know. I'm looking for his exact diagram. Look, at the end of the day, that alone is cause for concern, isn't it?
I've just looked up the Wikipedia, not to get any reliable information, but it says leptin, and at the top, the first thing it says is not to be confused with lectin.
This guy, no, I mean this is wild. This is not a typo because it's multiple times. This whole diagram is about leptins.
Yeah. It's all about and I mean even on the right, it looks like. Binds to leptin receptors. I don't know if he
binds to leptin receptors, leptin
No,
resistance. Leptin receptors. It literally is receptors and leptin resistance. What does that mean? Yeah, he's got it wrong. He's confused the two. That's hilarious that he's done that. Wow. We got a tip from I can't pronounce the name. Meat eaters and kiddie fiddlers take advantage of the defenseless. You said it. This guy is a joke, by the way. I mean, can you imagine? This is oh my God, caught in 4K. You know, it's just complete nonsense that he's talking, and he can't even get his own diagrams right. Is he talking about something entirely different?
leptin receptors and leptin. So this is leptin is obviously a satiety signal. So released from your whole.
Oh, so he changed now. Okay, then everything we just said was pointless. Now he's talking about leptins.
So we talk about a lot of carbohydrates here, how that can affect insulin, how hyperinsulinemia can cause all sorts of different problems. But what we don't necessarily know about is that certain lectins can actually bind to your insulin receptors and bind them more tightly than insulin and cause a greater.
No, he's talking about lectins.
Insulinogenic effect. Can also bind to leptin receptors and leptin. So this is. Leptin is obviously a satiety signal. So it's released from your adipose tissue and your stretch receptors when your stomach is full, goes to your brain and says, hey, we're full, we're hungry, or we're not hungry, we don't need to eat, we have enough energy. So you block that off, which insulin will do as well. Then you're not able to see your satiety signals and you end up overeating, and you overeat, and this is why we overeat. So this is another reason why people on a ketogenic diet often reduce the amount that they will eat naturally, but sometimes you'll actually see that the lectins are also having an effect, and when you drop those, people will actually lose weight as well. There was a study looking at people with isocaloric intake, and just removed lectins, and they all lost weight. and the others didn't, and it lost a significant amount of weight. It's also implicated in things like Parkinson's disease. They actually found that lectins can actually track up the vagus nerve and get into the substantia nigra and damage your cells there, and are implicated and thought to be part of Parkinson's, or at least a contributing factor to Parkinson's. Demonstrating this, there was a study in 2015 out of Denmark where they looked at all the people who had a vagotomy, where they cut the vagus nerve between the 1970s and the 1990s, sort of mid-mid, and they found that in this population there was a 67% reduction in Parkinson's rates. Interesting. Going on with lectins, there's wheat germ agglutinin, which is, I'm sure a lot of people are familiar.
I think the problem is from here in is it's getting super scientific, and we without actually looking into all these claims and all these studies he's referencing, it's going to be tricky for us to continue, I think. We don't know what else he's going to say, but I mean, what do you think? It seems to be getting a little bit science heavy now, and we'd need to go away and like verify all his claims, wouldn't we, you know?
Yeah, I agree, and I'm not the best person to do that because I've never...
But thank you for the suggestion. I will take a look at the rest of that video, and maybe I will speak with some people who know a little bit more about this kind of stuff. I'll do a little bit of research myself, but yeah, maybe we could find some vegan doctors who or you know the team that's been. Well, I hope we're still going to be doing that, but we were still. Let me just get to the fucking. I get my words out here. I'm in my own world today, guys. So I was planning to do a video response to what I've learned, and I think we're still planning to do that with this team. It's just taking a little. I think it's going to take a little longer to get it all sorted, but maybe that same team could take a look at this as well. That's the point I was trying to make. So yeah. Righto. So we had some other stuff to take a look at, right? Don't sound too excited, man.
What are you talking about? I was just saying, yeah.
So
I was actually looking forward to this next one.
Which one?
Which one are you going to?
Which one? Well, what's the next one you were excited for, dude?
Well, the next one down in the list.
You want to?
I mean, isn't that usually how lists work?
Okay, yeah. We missed the top one, but all right, it's fine. Yeah, okay. So next story we're going to talk about today, guys. Lawrence is going to talk about it by himself a little bit because I'm going to go pee.
Am I? I haven't read this story.
I've not read this story. You're going to have to read it out.
Oh, right. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, I can't share my screen.
Yeah, I'll leave my screen up so they can see it. And I'll be right back, okay? No pressure,
okay,
no pressure.
I mean,
there you go.
I mean, like, if I go below...
It's up now. Read it.
Okay, cool. Well, I don't know. I can't see the stream.
What do you not know? What are you talking about? What?
No, I'm saying I can't see the stream, so I bet you've put something up to mug me off.
No, I put the article up. People, everyone in the chat, just tell him the article's up. Like, I wouldn't screw you like that, man.
No, I reckon you've just put up some massive sign saying I'm a dickhead or something.
that would have been hilarious, but I didn't think about it. I didn't know I was going to need to pee midstream. But yeah, go.
All right, I'll start. Okay, cool. All right. Anyway, so I don't know how far down in the article you guys can see, but I don't actually know what this article is. So, United Airlines passenger who tried to open emergency exit and stabbed on. Okay, so some guy tried to open the door of the plane in midair, I'm guessing. Otherwise, it's not that cool. And they were stabbed with a broken spoon. Fucking, that's gnarly. Is vegan with a history of mental health issues. Okay, so first thing on this, I know what they're doing. So you know how when, if someone did this, right? So obviously this person is either just generally a mental case or they've had a bit of an episode. And if this was a meat eater that did this, it wouldn't be brought up. But because they're a vegan, and this is the Daily Mail, right? So because they're a vegan and it's the Daily Mail, obviously they bring it up because they think, oh, well, it'll make vegans look bad or whatever. It's the same as like when you see these articles where it's like family starves child or like child dies of malnutrition in vegan family. And it's like this happens loads around the world. But when it's a non-vegan family, apparently it's not brought up.
Yeah, so I figured this guy, when I first read this, I actually read in the article, apparently he just found out that Cosmic Skeptic went ex-vegan, and that's what caused the outburst, apparently. So actually kind of, you know, you understand it a bit better now, right? When you understand that.
He just snapped his spoon and had to stab the nearest person.
Fucking hell, Alex. But yeah, no, you're totally right. I caught the last bit of what you were saying, and I think you nailed it. Like the media loves to do that. The media loves to profile people like in this way.
Yeah.
But they only like to do it when it serves the agenda of the media. So, for example, when they do it with vegans, they love to shit on vegans, for example. But they also do it. They love to shit on white people, but they don't like to shit on anyone else. So when there's some kind of horrible thing happen, like a murder or some horrible shit goes down, they're quick to be like, "It was the white man. It was a white man that did it," and that'll be in the headline. But when it's for example, like an African American, like black person, or anyone else, like Mexican, or just whatever, somewhere from Asia, they won't put that in the title. It'll just be, there was a stabbing or there was a murder. So they like to do that. And the vegans, unfortunately, we're still in that category of, they'll use us for clicks because they know most people are happy to see vegans getting shit on. So they'll still go for that. The same way they know most people are happy to see white people get shit on. So they'll still go for that. Or conservatives get shit on. Like if someone politically does something bad, they're like, someone in general, like, oh, sorry, let me get the point out. If someone's like vocal on Twitter about their political beliefs and those political beliefs are conservative, if they do something bad, that's the first thing the media is going to come out like, oh, this conservative tweeter or whatever did this horrible thing. It's like, but if it were the other side, no, it wouldn't be. Then they wouldn't mention it because they have their biases. Yeah, this is one of them.
Yeah, it's like that guy. What was he called? Shit. There was a guy who was killed in the same way. Well, actually, I'm not really sure the situation, but I think more. And let's move on because I'm just getting.
I was gonna say, I'm surprised you want to go there, but no, I can tell you what happened. There was a guy, a white guy,
Tony Timper or whatever, right?
Yeah,
Tony.
Tony, something like that. Yeah. I don't know his name. I can't remember the name, but yeah, there was a white.
But his killing was more egregious.
Well, we've not specified exactly what we're talking about right now. But basically, there was a white guy who was killed in a very similar way to how George Floyd was killed, and actually his one was more clearly wrong, if that makes sense. Like, of course, with George Floyd thing, that was wrong too. But there was some argument to say, well, they were doing things by the book, even though it was the wrong book to use. They were doing the things as they've been trained to do. Whereas with the other case, it was clear as day that there was no training that would have meant they did that. It was, and they were laughing about it, joking about what they were doing to this guy.
He was dying, yeah.
So it was like, it was worse. I mean, I feel like it was worse. I don't know. You could say like, oh, that's a horrible thing to say, but I feel if they're laughing and joking about it, I feel like that automatically makes it worse. And it just didn't even hit the media at all because they don't care. They just want to rile people up about, the race wars and stuff. And this is what's going on here, basically. Yeah, they'll rile people up. They know people hate vegans, so they just want to keep that going, basically. And yeah, I don't know. Why were you excited to get into this one specifically? I mean, what did you want to... Yeah.
Because it had the label funny next to it.
I mean, it's funny because what they try to make it. The situation's not funny, but it's funny that they try to make it a vegan thing. That's what I find funny. It's like, come on, it's not a fucking vegan story. It is huh?
And he tried to open the door mid-air. I didn't realize that at the start. Yeah.
Look at this. It's here. A United Airlines passenger who tried to open an emergency exit while mid-air, then attacked a flight attendant with a broken spoon, is a vegan. Why would you? Why? Why are you even including that with a history of mental health problems and tried to sue a psychiatric hospital because it wouldn't serve him almond milk? I mean, the last bit's pretty fair. Like, you got to get this guy some almond milk. Come on.
But like, what I don't understand. Why is this in the news?
Why? Because I don't. Because he's vegan. Because it's easy. Yeah. I think that's what's going on. And look at the mugshot. They just want to make a whole thing about him. Because it's a Daily Fail, man. They're scumbags. We know this about the Daily Fail. They're just nasty. And they love anti-vegan stuff. So that's it. That's it for that story. I mean, the guy's mentally ill. I'm not going to roast the guy or anything like that because it's not fair. But Daily Mail, they're pieces of shit, proper scumbags. So that doesn't surprise me, to be honest. Okay, let's go to another story then. We've got that one's a pretty dark one. We've got a couple here. Is there anything that stands out to you? Do you want to take a look at? I mean, yeah.
What about this? This one's light. This poached egg one.
Poached egg.
Third from the bottom.
Oh, you want to talk about poached? All right. I mean, it's not very spicy.
You said you didn't want a serious one.
Oh, it's not working. The article's gone. Sorry.
Oh, really?
My bad.
Okay. Well, do you want a non-serious one?
We can look at this one, the bottom one.
Okay.
This is funny. All right.
Oh, is this what's the brand called
BFC.
again? Yeah.
Yeah, so they look at this vegan meat brand displays its own troll comments on 2,200 tube cars in London. I'd rather look at this. I'd rather stick a wasp up my bum. Wayne from Facebook. This is such a good banner.
Yeah. They're sort of like they've gone the sort of same road as Oatly in terms of like but they've gone further down, I think.
Right.
Because Oatly has quite like fun, inventive marketing, right?
Yeah.
Like they do, we're not allowed to call this ice cream, but you can, for example, because they weren't legally allowed to call it ice cream because it's vegan. Yeah, this one's funny.
It's hilarious, man. By the way, we've got a tip as well. Dilligan says, vegan breaks his fragile arm because of calcium deficiency right after being hit by a train. It's kind of like what they were, and this is, I'm about to say something very controversial, but here we go. I think I'm safe to say it now. It's kind of like what they were doing during the pandemic when there are people come in like, oh, I've been in a car crash. And then like, oh, unfortunately they died, but they tested positive for COVID. So, so we gotta put them down as that's another death, guys. You got to be terrified. Yeah. Stay in your homes. There's so many people. Yeah, sure, yeah. They did that. And by the way, that's not even a conspiracy theory. That is factual that they were doing that. That is factual.
They did that in the UK.
Hospitals have admitted to it in the UK. They admitted to it in Canada. They admitted to it in the USA. That's what they were doing because they were told to do it that way. And that's the way the system was set up. So just don't hate on me. Don't hate on Lawrence, right? If I'd have said this 2 years ago, you'd have cancelled me. You'd have unsubscribed. You'd have cancelled the patrons and stuff like that, wouldn't you? No, I'm joking. The patrons wouldn't, but lots of people would have unsubscribed. But now it seems to be okay to say it because it's true. And I'd say like that should be a lesson to everybody about, if people are really researching stuff and looking into stuff and actually showing you things that don't add up, we should always listen. That's how we became vegan, isn't it? So just saying, guys, it's a warning for the future. When this kind of shit kicks off and everything's going crazy, try and look at things logically and reasonably and try and find information. And just like you did when you found out about animal ag, just like when you watched that documentary, Earthlings or Dominion, we've got to look for the ones that are exposing the truth, not just listen to what everyone else is telling us is right or wrong. It's really important. What do you think, Lauren? She's smirking now.
No, I'm just still looking at the wasp up my bum. That's so funny.
Good. I thought you were about to say something about me being some kind of, I don't know.
No. No. I mean, they were open about it. I mean, even the BBC, they would say X number of deaths with COVID.
Whoops.
Yeah, which is like
crazy.
Okay, well, that's irrelevant. Like, if someone got mauled by a dog and they had COVID, they would be died with COVID. Do you get what I mean?
That's what they were doing, yeah. And then they were passing off those numbers as,
it's just an irrelevant statistic.
Yeah. Jokic has sent through a link for us, says a vegan, and then he's got some link for us to look at. Let's have a look at that. Where is it gone?
A wasp up my bum. That's so funny.
I think there's more of them. We'll get back to it though after we've checked this out.
Yeah, I've seen some of them in real life because there was one time when they were all around London.
Oh yeah, I remember this one. No, I don't mean the ads. I'm talking about this story. Sorry, this story. I've seen this story. I'm going to send it you now. It's about this drug dealer. So yeah, it's like vegan suspected drug dealer among UK fugitives hiding in Spain. It's like, why does it matter that the guy's a vegan? What does that have to do? Like, vegans can be drug dealers. They can be traffickers, warlords. They can be murderers. They can be lots of bad things because they're humans. Vegans are still humans, and humans can be shit. You know, it's a weird one. This, you know, and then some. Yeah, go ahead.
It's quite funny because in the first line they say that the guy has a diamond tattoo under his eye. So I was looking in the picture like which one has the diamond tattoo.
Oh yeah,
and he does look like the one that would be a vegan, to be fair.
Wait, I'm looking for his diamond tattoo. Oh yeah. True.
Yeah.
To be, yeah, he's got that vibe.
Yeah, that's funny.
It says, yeah, he's one of the most wanted fugitives hiding in Spain. But what does it matter that
Really?
he's vegan? It's so stupid, man. Who gives a shit if he's vegan or not?
And he's probably, I mean, to be fair, he's probably not vegan as well.
Right.
He's
Right.
probably plant-based or something, or if that.
Do you know, I saw this hilarious. I was about to make the joke that Coke is vegan anyway, so it's fine. But like, and I was, and I realized that yesterday I was looking at these podcasts, and I found some AI website that allows you to search podcasts by keyword. So I found a couple podcasts that talked about veganism, and one of them was the Chris Williamson. Do you know him?
Yeah, Modern Wisdom.
Modern Wisdom, and he brought it up not 6 years ago, 2 years ago. He brought it up, and he was talking about it. And I'm going to do a short about it, maybe, because he makes possibly the stupidest comment I think I've seen.
Yeah,
yeah. Only one though in his whole podcast career. He's only talked about veganism like once, right? He's not made comments on it before.
His podcast has been blowing up, but he's. I don't know. I think I actually listened to quite a bit of his podcast. He does some good episodes, but he also just says some dumb stuff as well. He's kind of on the sort of, he's like a milquetoast Jordan Peterson sort of guy.
Well, my point, what he said about veganism was that someone had said, the guy he was talking to was like, "Oh, you vegan?" He said, "No, I'm not vegan." And then he was like, "Oh, you know, some of these people who are vegan, they say, hey, you know, don't go and hurt this cow." And then they'll spend the weekends, you know, getting all coked up from drugs that you know, from drug lords who hurt people and stuff like that. Like, you know, so they're super hypocrites. And it's like, what? That's your counter argument? That like some minority of vegans go and like do bad things that involve humans. Like, do you really like what a strange thing to comment on? You know, there are like tons of vegans that don't do that. Like, the vast majority of vegans don't do that. So yeah, the couple that do that, you could argue with them about them being hypocrites. That doesn't absolve you of your animal torture, that your animal abuse. You're not like, you know, off the hook because some vegans are hypocritical with their ethics. That what a weird thing to say.
But it's like when it comes to whether you should be vegan or not, the actions of another, the fact that someone else is vegan is actually irrelevant.
Right.
So basically, what you're saying, if someone says to you, you know, what do you think of veganism, and you say, someone else who I don't know anything about did cocaine once at a party, that's my comment on veganism. Like, it's irrelevant.
So stupid. They go for anything to just absolve themselves of any guilt, basically. Well, yeah, this vegan I met does coke, and coke's bad for the humans, so oh, okay, yeah, cool. Well, how does that change you funding animal abuse? It's ridiculous. All right, we have a couple more of these, I think. I'd rather eat dog shit rolled in breadcrumbs. That's so funny. I'd rather eat my dog.
That one's less funny because he does eat animals.
Right. True.
Is that the same Aaron? Oh no, wait, no.
What do you
Wayne,
mean?
isn't it?
Aaron?
Sorry, no. I thought Wayne was Aaron.
What? What are you on about?
No. It's because they say Aaron from Facebook, right?
Oh,
and I
okay.
thought the first one was Aaron as well. I was like, this guy's left multiple. Like, this guy must be a complete loser.
Yeah. Well, no,
Like,
I mean, they
he
are.
Yeah. He just spends all his time trolling some random junk food brand.
Yeah.
It's
so
have a better
weird.
use of your time.
These people are such losers, man. Honestly, I've reached a point where I sometimes when I sit and I remember you don't remember this, do you? You don't remember life before social media, right? Like,
Yeah,
you
I do,
grew
yeah.
up with it, no?
No, I didn't grow up with it. No.
Wait, that's not possible. You must have done. What age were you when my no, dude? Of course, you
Yeah, but I didn't really use that.
Okay, but it was
I started using social media when I was probably like 14.
right, but it existed way before that.
Well, yeah, but it didn't really have any impact on society. At least for me,
Yeah,
anyway. It wasn't relevant to my life.
Okay. I mean, it didn't. Did you just say it didn't have any impact on society? What kind of claim is that? Yes, it did.
Not back then.
Yes, it did. Yes, it absolutely did.
What did MySpace do?
MySpace, dude. MySpace was the OG Facebook. It was where people like put up their opinions and things and like DM'd each other and shit. You could get away with stuff. Like, what are you talking about right now? I mean,
it had no impact on
you're
my
like
life.
26 going on 70. Like, it's crazy. you're the oldest young person I've ever met. Like,
why does everyone keep saying that?
Because you are. You sat here and you're like, I'm like, yeah, you grew up with social media. No, I stayed off social media until I was in my early teens. Well, like, all your mates were on it, right?
I don't know.
Did you have mates?
I tried.
That's why you couldn't get them, because they were all on social media.
Yeah,
and you
I had
weren't.
no one to be social with.
All right, my point was that I remember when social media, like, I was old enough to see it come and actually see it like, oh wow, like I can choose to be in or out. Whereas my point was you grew into it, so for you it was. I assume if you were actually a normal person, it would have just been like something that was just there, right?
We had Telegram when I was a kid.
You had Telegram.
The Telegram. I was making a joke about being old.
Yeah, but there's an app called Telegram. So
Yeah,
that
that's why I
doesn't
said
help.
the Telegram.
My point, right? Let me get to my bloody point. So, I'm saying I remember social media coming in, and I remember before that, if you had an opinion, you tell your mate, tell your mum, tell your brother, and well, that's it. And maybe you meet some people at the pub, tell them if you want, if you're that into it, right? You want to discuss it, and that's it, right? That's it. And so you wouldn't just say stupid shit because you'd fucking face to face with people. You'd have to dress it up and make sure it's like a good story to tell or it's relevant. You know, so if I'm like, I'm going to the gym now, so I couldn't just walk up to some random guy who clearly doesn't go to the gym and start talking about the gym, because he'd be like, I'm not into the gym, right? So it's like it ends immediately, right? The conversation. So you got to make sure it's relevant for them. You got to make sure you're not going to upset them. All these different things, right? And then social media came in, and then all of a sudden, it created this world where people just say whatever they want, whenever they want, to anyone they want, at any time, and as many times as they want, with no repercussions, with no accountability. And the worst offenders of it are the ones who they're most likely just complete and utter losers that nobody wants to listen to because they're so annoying, because they're so full of shit. And so what they do is this stuff that we're looking at here, they just throw it all up onto the socials, right? And it's just like a constant barrage. It won't just be on VFC. It'll be a VFC, Joey, Ed. It'll be to me. It'll be to you. It'll be to everyone, all of them, just everyone, because they're just sad and they've got nothing better to do. And it's kind of really sad because it's. I feel like it's just created this world of just completely no accountability, where these people are able to do this and get validation by people being upset with them or engaging with their stupid shit. And I just, I feel sad that we've opened this door, because we're never going to close it now. And it's sad because I remember the time before this, and that was way better. Life was so much better without like, you know, all this crap. It really, I genuinely, it was. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah, and you'd be able to spot them a mile off, because back then they'd be walking down the high street in their slippers and dressing gown, shouting at the moon or something.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that, because like how you just describe it is just so right. It's so right. It's just so correct.
Yeah, it's that sort of person.
Just like a little bit loopy, you know. But man, yeah. I wish we could keep all the good things about social media and just get rid of all the bad things about it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Everything has a good and bad side in it.
Right. Yeah. These people, though, they really need to be. They need these people who do this stuff. They need to be referred to help, like given help, like therapy or something, or like, I don't know, put into some kind of groups where they can meet people and actually have a life.
Do you know, it'll be funny. You know how they brought in like midway through the pandemic, they brought in like the fact checker stuff. So if someone
Right.
mentioned, you know, the injection or climate change, it would pop up little below saying,
changing
you know,
it to injection doesn't help with like YouTube.
Oh, does it not?
No,
Oh,
it's just, I
okay.
mean, it's just the same fucking thing, man. But yeah, go on. Just
Okay.
you've done it now, so.
Well, no, I mean, it was already done if it was going to be done to this life. Anyway, so what they could bring in is like losers on comment sections. They comment and below it auto populates with call this number for help or like talk to someone or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. Like, there's some kind of like group, some therapy for them. Unlike the animal testers from earlier, who don't deserve any therapy, these people who are trolling, I've got way more empathy for them. I think they actually do need some help and some therapy, because who the hell does that? Who sits online and just tries to abuse people? I mean, it's just the most pathetic thing you can do with your life. You know, God, Lawrence, like, I tried to put myself in the position of one of these people. Like, okay, I literally have, the only way I could think about doing it myself and being mean online to people, strangers, is if I have nothing of worth in my life. My family hates me. I have no partner. I have no animals in my car. I have a shit job where no one likes me and I hate it. I'm on minimum wage, barely scraping it together. And I just have to work. And then the only time I get is alone, eating microwave meals. Like, in that situation, I'd probably be quite a bitter person, and then I'd go online and abuse people. And that's the only situation I can think of what would, you know, if I were a different person completely, that scenario would do it for me. And that's so fucking sad, because I think that's where these people are. I think that's what they are. That's their situation, I think, or something like that. And how pathetic is that? You know, how sad is that? So when you see a troll comment, just remember that's probably what they're doing. It's something along those lines. And that's just, you know, you pity them. You mock them and pity them. That's why I do Meat Flakes of the Week, because it's like, let's just mock them for our entertainment. But I don't go too hard on them, to be fair. I don't mock them like, you know, you're a piece of shit or something. Don't really, or like get too personal. But you don't take them seriously, for God's sake. I mean, just laugh it off and move on, you know? Because they're just sad people.
I don't know, but I feel like...
Lawrence just fade off.
Well, no, I just feel like...
Too long.
No, I don't really have much to add. I just feel like there's going to be more of these people over time.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
What with the way things are going.
Especially because now social media, like Instagram's allowing people to turn off their mentions, so they can say anything they want on any post and nobody can reply to them. No one can at them. Instagram allows that. What kind of shit is that? That's crazy. You can't even hold them accountable.
Yeah, but also like just with the way because I mean, I might be wrong, but my impression is that most trolls are men.
Yeah, probably.
And I think it's probably because most people in that situation are men.
Right.
And I feel like it's only going to get worse. What with, you know, people just it's so easy now to spend your whole life in one room if you wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
I could live my whole life in this one room if I wanted to. Because
Same.
you can order stuff to your house.
Yeah.
You have what you need through the internet, stuff, all this sort of stuff. And this is one of the reasons why we're seeing the rise of things like incels, right? Because people, like, I watched a short documentary on incels in the UK the other day, and it was really depressing. That there was one guy who, he somehow the people making the documentary were able to reach out to him. I don't know if he was like a somewhat of a notable figure in the incel like scene.
Yeah.
And they met up in a field, and the guy said that the interviewer guy doing the documentary was the first person he had met in real life for I think years.
Wow.
That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the first person he'd actually had a conversation with. Like, okay, you go
sad.
to the shop, you buy something from the cashier.
Yeah.
You don't speak to the cashier. But like, it's just insane. And I feel like with the way things are going on social media and the fact it's so easy to live in your own bubble,
Metaverse.
more and more people are going to be like that.
And especially as like pretty much everything you need for entertainment, you can get online for free. You know, it's not even like you need to go and work to get more money so you can do more things that you enjoy, like go out and play, I don't know, play football or go to a gym membership and stuff like that or whatever. The good things that make people happy like happier, productive activities and stuff like that. They're being replaced by mindless online shit. You can just sit and watch YouTube all day. And if you get yourself into a shitty YouTube black hole where it's not even useful stuff, like if you go down a YouTube black hole of learning how to code or something, then great, it's amazing. But I don't think that's what these people are doing. It's probably mostly just porn and crap, you know, porn and Mr. Beast videos. It's probably that's. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's not. I mean, no shade on Mr. Beast. He's a great YouTuber, but his videos.
It doesn't make you grow as a person.
Right, exactly. They're nice. They're nice to like escape for a little bit. Like watching a superhero movie. It's like, oh, it's fun, it's cool. There's nothing wrong with it, but you're probably not going to get much out of it, right?
Yeah.
And it's nice. It's nice that you're watching that documentary about incels. I know you really identify with that, and you know.
Yeah, I was like, that guy's had a conversation with someone after years. Maybe I have hope as well.
Funny. Samira, thank you for the tip. Says, this is the best live ever. I can't stop laughing. It's 3 a.m. in Brisbane, but I can't go to bed. That's funny.
Because I'm on it.
That's because what? Because you're here.
Yeah.
Because Lawrence brings the banter. That's exactly. Thanks so much for the feedback. That's awesome. Sharon, thank you so much for the tip. Says, you guys are amazing. Ignore the wannabe carnists commenting. Love to Annie. Thank you. Yeah, Annie's here in the chat and in the other room as well.
Wait, who are the wannabe carnists?
Carnists. Like there's people. I think there's people in the chat trying to stir shit up.
So some of the people we've been talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, some complete loser. Yeah. And I mean, I'm using loser. I'm using loser not necessarily as like the insulting way, just as like a factual way. You are losing in life if you spend your time in live chats chatting shit, aren't you? Yeah. You know,
especially David's live chat.
Especially. I'm not. I mean, yeah, exactly. Of all the people to come and bug, you bug like a mid-level vegan YouTuber. It's kind of lame. You know, if you're gonna do this, at least go for like a huge YouTuber like Ed or something. You know, or go and troll someone with millions of subs that does a stream or something like that. At least you know.
Just wait until they start trolling my live chat. Then you know they've really hit rock bottom.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. What are the stories that we got here that seem interesting? I think we should try and keep it a little light because there's some nasty ones in here, and I don't want to bring the tone down. We got they're all the other ones are pretty dark though. Actually,
well, what's this? It says serious next to it, but it just says fox on roof.
It's pretty sad.
Is it? Oh, okay. Don't do it.
I mean, basically, just some students like threw a dead fox on a roof as a joke.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And it's just like they're pathetic. I mean, I'll show people, there's no photos, but I'll show people the story in case they wanted to find it or something. But it's just like people are just, you know, this is what I mean. It's like there's definitely a degradation of society. People are becoming more and more.
100%.
More and more.
I mean, if
yeah, go on.
I don't mean to be 70 years old again, but you look at do you follow the Instagram account History Colored?
Oh, so it wasn't the roof of the building, so it was tied to a car roof. But yeah, sorry, what did you ask me? Say again.
Do you follow the Instagram account History Colored?
History Colored? No, I don't. Yeah. No.
So it's basically they take old pictures and footage that's black and white and colorize it, right?
Okay.
So it makes it more relatable, you know, more understandable for the modern person.
Yeah.
And they're really interesting. They have, you know, videos of World War I soldiers who are suffering from shell shock, and they've colorized it and stuff. But they often post videos of just like when cameras, you know, first were invented and they got to a point where they were usable on the street. People would take a camera out and just plonk it in the street and record people going past. And obviously everyone going past would stare at it because no one really knew what a camera was now. Whereas now no one bats an eyelid because everyone's doing it. But if you look at those videos from, you know, a while ago, like everyone's wearing a suit. Even if they were working in a factory, everyone was wearing a suit. You know, everyone is more presentable, stuff like that. And now it's like some people just go out in their pajamas.
Right.
And do you get what I mean? So it's like it's what you were saying. There's just a degradation of, and hey, look, I'm not hating. It's not like I dress in a suit every day, but I'm part of this general just drop in standards. You know, people litter more, it seems. People don't really care about appearance as much, all of this sort of stuff.
I saw an interesting I saw an interesting video kind of about this. They they dressed up a woman in some very, very traditional clothing that was very classy looking, and she was dressed, and it was all bodies covered, by the way, like very like kind of traditional. I don't know what traditional is the right word. Maybe some like old British or old American style kind of thing, or maybe 50s style. And she had like hair and makeup done in that style as well. And they stuck her. They had someone filming behind, like some ways behind. So I guess people didn't know she was being filmed, and they just wanted to see how people reacted. And they saw how like a lot of men were looking like oh wow, like, you know, double taking, even though she was completely covered, right? So the idea that you like to be like some women want to dress a certain way because they want male attention and they want to be like, you know, sought after. So they'll show cleavage, or they'll show, you know, lots of skin, or maybe dress like somewhat provocatively. And they were kind of, I guess this video was kind of proving that it's not necessary. Like she's dressed in a very formal way, and still turning heads. So they were kind of proving that. They were trying to say like, is classy, you know, these days classy is more attractive than skin, if that makes sense. Like, is it more of a, I don't know if I'm using the right terms here, but like, yeah, I guess because the culture's changed so much. Like, for example, if somebody walked down the street, if a man walked down the street in a super tight t-shirt, or a woman, back then everyone would stare at them, right? Yeah. But nowadays, because everyone's doing that, if you dress classy and really, really like that style, everyone stares at you because you stand out as like, oh my God, that, and in a good way stand out, like, oh, they look so good kind of thing, you know? But yeah, this is way off topic. I suppose let's pull it back into like relevancy though. What I was going to talk about was just general degeneracy of society. Like the obviously the way people dress is part of it as well. The way people just don't make effort for anything anymore. But this is a huge part of it, that, you know, this is students tying a dead fox to a car roof, and I guess driving around. There's a photo there. We're not going to see that. But yeah, you know, there's more and more stuff like this coming out now, and I guess there's an element of this. Of course, we are gonna, like the media. If it bleeds, it leads, right? That's how it works in the media. So if it's a story with like violence, it goes on first. And this has been happening. I'll admit something here for all the haters to use. I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast earlier with Andrew Schultz, who's a comedian, and they were talking about this, and they were talking about the media, even since Rogan was a teenager. He was talking about how, you know, there was the potential war with Russia back then, and there was loads of stuff going on, like the Soviet Union. And he said he'd go home every day and turn on the TV, and it would always be images of Russian soldiers and like showing their armies and showing their weaponry and trying to scare you, because they want people to be like terrified. And he was terrified. He was saying he was scared for his life. He was scared for his family, that he thought there was going to be nuclear war. And so they've been doing it, you know, all the way from back then. So the point is like, this story is really, really horrible and really bad. But also the media focuses on all these things. And now we've got access to the internet and media constantly. So what I'm trying to get at here is this happening more often now? Or is it just that we see it more often because news covers it and puts it online? Yeah. Is there more of this horrible shit happening? Or is it just as much as there was in the 50s? Like, this is what I don't know the answer to. But it seems like it's getting worse to me.
Yeah, I mean, this is a phenomenon that happens with loads of and actually this specific one that you're talking about is what Steven Pinker talks about in his book, Better Angels of Our Nature. He talks about how he makes the case that humans on average have actually been becoming less violent. Like, we're the least violent now as we ever have been, is the case he's making. Yeah. But people have the perception that we're getting more violent because before humans were really violent, but you just lived in your village, right? Yeah. And so you would just any violence that happened in your local area, you'd be exposed to, but you weren't necessarily seeing the massive wars that were going on somewhere else where, you know, so many people would, whereas now humans tend to be a lot more peaceful, for a variety of reasons. One of the reasons is we're so connected globally. We need to trade with each other, and so we keep the peace so that we can trade. But if someone gets shot in a school in Australia, everyone around the world hears about it.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. So,
yeah. I get you. It's kind of like I think was it Douglas Murray who made that statement, that thing about how like there is like the thing of like, okay, the violence is like this big, but if you shine a torch right next to it, the shadow's huge, right? Yeah. And that huge shadow is the media, is the TV. That's what they're showing. It's the same with like racism in the West, especially in the West. I'm not talking about other countries have still got it really bad, but in the West, we are at this point the least racist, or the UK, for example, and the USA are the least racist countries on earth, without a doubt, right?
Probably in history.
Probably in the history of the world, yeah. But you wouldn't think it by looking at the news and looking at all these different articles and all these different activists. You'd think it was actually we're at the worst. Like, you'd think that we're at the pinnacle, the heights of racism right now. But it's the complete opposite. And that doesn't mean to say there's no issues. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm saying the situation is the best it's probably ever been in the history of humanity. Well, actually, to be fair, not in the history of humanity, because there wasn't any racism at one point, because we didn't even have other races of people at one point, or didn't know them at least, right? But yeah, it's probably since in modern civilization, let's put it that way, it's probably the least racist it's ever been. But yeah, if you look at the media, then so that's what I mean with stories like this. It's like it's horrible, but don't let it get you down, is what I'm trying to say, because it's people do horrible shit. Stuff like this. It seems like they're apathetic. It seems like they're disgusting and evil. But in this case, it's probably just some kids being morons. And I guess they didn't kill the fox. They probably found the dead fox and thought it would be funny. So, it's not, the story's not quite as bad as it appears. Nowhere near as bad as the story we talked about earlier with the animal testing. Mindless nonsense with dead animals is nowhere near as bad as conscious, paid torture of animals, right? That to me is a way bigger problem, a way bigger thing to think about and be concerned about than some idiots tying a dead fox onto a car roof.
Well, it happened at an agricultural university as well, which I'm not surprised by.
They're proper scumbags, don't get me wrong. But yeah, like I said, it's the kind of story that could easily upset people, but just don't let it upset you, because it's there's more important things to be bothered about and upset about, is what I'm saying. That's not one of them. Yeah. This is fucking idiots. What else have we got? Oh, this one was interesting, actually, about veterinarians clashing over culling practices. This one I found to be very interesting. Check this out. There's some drama. Have you got it? I can send it you as a link.
Yeah. No, I got it. It's just loading.
So this one, this was an interesting one. So check this out. It says veterinarians clash over method of mass culling of livestock. So let's have a look. So it's saying here that veterinarians are embroiled in a battle over ventilation shutdown, plus a controversial emergency method used to cull infected flocks in hopes of containing the highly contagious virus. So over ventilation shutdown, basically, guys, what that means is they turn off all the fans in the farm and they just let it heat up, and then it kills all the animals inside, right? So that's what a ventilation shutdown means. So veterinarians have been arguing about that, and it's gotten to the point where, check this out, Dr. Crystal Heath, a practitioner from California, is against the use of that method, said she was one of a half a dozen or so vets who applied to register to this event that they were doing and got turned away. And the claim they made was they're not able to accommodate all the requests, and we will not register you. You can expect a refund. So they've literally, it's gone that bad that they're so petty that they're turning people away who are against this method from organizational meetings and events, because they're, it's pathetic, isn't it? It says it didn't specify they were barred because of that stance, but they think that's the case.
Have you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Have you seen the euphemisms they're using as well?
Yeah,
Like they say depopulation method. So like depopulation. Like we all know
Right.
what that is.
Yeah, mass
And
killing. Yeah.
yeah, and the
Genocide.
Humane Endings Symposium.
Where's that? Humane end. Oh yeah, that's the one.
In the
Sorry. Yeah,
paragraph that
yeah.
you
My
just-
bad. I should have finished
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So it's an AVMA's Humane Endings Symposium. It's like a wow. So that's the event name.
mad.
How did I not even see that?
It's so mad
Beat
though.
off.
Like they don't even. It's not even like. Well, I guess they're not slaughtering them, are they? But it's like
It's a humane ending.
yeah. It's I don't even know what you would call that. It's a humane mass killing or something. It's just mad. It's a bit. Have you seen the bit by George Carlin where he talks about the softening of language? It starts with shell shock, and then they went down the line, and it became more and more like soft.
No. I don't think
Oh
I've seen
right,
that.
okay, well whatever.
I'm still reading this, but they're saying that there's this. We put this and previous humane ending symposia together so we can get to the top experts on the science and ethics of euthanasia, humane slaughter, and depopulation in the same room. This year, we also have experts who are talking about the psychological impacts of these activities on the people who are involved in conducting them. Scum. We don't want anything to hinder their ability to share information. We can't have people afraid to provide information because they're afraid they'll be publicly targeted. Unbelievable. So there's something here. It says, Heath presents the notion that she and like-minded colleagues might stymie open discussion. I don't know what that even means, but recognizes that this attracts contempt for good reason, she said. Listen to this. The process involves sealing a building full of animals, usually poultry or swine, by blocking off fans and ventilation systems and pumping in heat or humidity until temperatures rise enough to kill. Which is just, absolutely disgusting. And that's why these vets are speaking out against it.
It's just so. Did you read the next bit? It's animals may die of hypoxia, which is low oxygen levels.
Yeah.
Or hypercapnia with
Building
like
of
carbon dioxide in the blood.
or
But
heat
most
stroke.
often succumb to basically getting too hot, heat stroke.
Yeah.
And it's just like I mean, I say I can imagine. I can't imagine what it's like to be in that situation, but I can just picture in my mind like what, because I've seen, pigs going into slaughterhouses, and whilst they're like in summer on the trucks, it gets so hot, and you can see the way that they like gasping for breath, trying to cool themselves down.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I mean, I was at a sanctuary this weekend, like volunteering with, like animals that this could have happened to.
Yeah.
And they're just such like sensitive beings that have not done anything wrong to anyone. And like, you go into like the area where the pigs are, and they like run up to you and they want scratches behind the ears and stuff. And these people are like doing this to them. Like, I don't know. I just like humanity is just so. I'm done with humans.
No, it's really sick, man. It's really sick.
And so in this, sorry,
go on.
In this environment, birds may linger as long as 8 hours.
It's insane.
Imagine that. Imagine dying from being too hot for 8 hours.
They sit there and suffer for 8 hours before dying.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's sick. It's sick, man. It's absolutely disgusting. I got distracted because I saw a comment in the live chat from like a verified channel, and I wanted to see if it was worth engaging, but it doesn't look to be. Let the guys in the chat talk about it. Sorry, that's why I kind of like drifted off for a second. But yeah, let me read this bit out here. It says, like you just said, in this environment, birds may linger as long as 8 hours because temperatures typically are hotter in swine facilities. Pigs generally take less time to die. This method was used on pigs in 2020 when there was a backlog of 600,000 pigs because of the COVID stuff. So they killed, I guess it's saying 600,000 of them that way. I don't even like to think about it, really like think about it so much because it's just so horrific.
Yeah.
that they did that to so many animals, and like the ones you were talking about in the sanctuary, and like the ones I've met and the ones I've spent time with as well. Pigs and chickens. I've spent a lot of time with pigs and chickens. Incredible animals, and yeah, they do that to them. Just I can't even. I've been in a lot of farms, even with the ventilation, they're hot, like really hot. There's only been maybe one or two where I've been in that's had, I don't know, like really high level ventilation to the point where it's actually cool. Maybe one or two out of, I don't know, it must be getting on to like 50 or 60 or more by now that I've been in, and the rest of them are they're really, really stuffy and really, really hot, and there's the ventilation, and the ventilation's kind of come in waves. So in between, it gets really stuffy and hot, and then turns on for a bit, and then it gets really stuffy and hot. So to imagine it just turned off is insane, man. So yeah, so they're kicking off about it, which is good. These vets are kicking off about it. They're hypocrites too, to be honest, but at least they're kicking off about this, which is good. What's this one here? People are incredibly passionate about these issues, and if they weren't, I'd be concerned. But I think passion can also be blinding. I think it is very difficult for many people to conceive of the need within 24 hours to potentially kill 1 million+ birds. I totally understand why people would have a hard time with that. Yeah, it's good that people have a hard time with that. You should have a hard time with that. They're saying it's the least bad choice. No, the least bad choice would be not to breed them in the first place.
Yeah. Turn the farm into some sort of sanctuary. Man,
it's a long article, but basically it's like these vets like teaming up with activists. It seems like wild, man, wild.
Yeah, it kind of just makes you, depressed. Like I see why people just sort of give up. So
what do you mean?
Well, things just get so overwhelming. Like I know people who things get so overwhelming they don't know what to. Well, it's like compassion fatigue, like actual compassion fatigue.
Yeah, this is actually that. Yeah. Yeah. You mean give up on animal rights, or do you mean give up as in tap out? Like I wasn't sure how deep you were getting just now.
When you say tap out, do you mean tap out, tap out?
Yeah, I thought I didn't. The way you said it was
I
very
didn't
like.
Mean tap, no, I didn't mean tap out, tap out. I just meant like stop doing, just recede into your bedroom or something.
Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah. Okay, become a recluse, become like a hermit, and just fuck the world. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Honestly, dude, with so much that's going on right now, with animal rights work I'm doing, and also some other things in society that I'm finding myself to be very frustrated with, as well as animal rights stuff. Like, there's even some human rights stuff that's bothering me. I've always had, like, obviously, I've got a soft spot for the helpless. You know what I mean? That's why I'm an animal rights activist. If animal rights was sorted, I would, there's no need to be an activist. I'd be a human rights activist. I'd be focusing on anything that impacts children. And I don't know, dude. Like, there's so much going on right now, and it can be the compassion fatigue in my side is like it's definitely hardcore. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I've got to turn this back around now. I can't just be depressed.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. It's. I mean, I guess the solution. I mean, the solution is, as always. I'll tell you what I can do for you guys. I can quote Paul Watson, Captain Paul Watson.
You know who I just thought of?
Yeah, well, you thought of the right wing YouTuber. No, Captain Paul Watson from Sea Shepherd, who now has his own organization. I interviewed him recently, and I said at the end I said, look, the people on your side are after you. People. I don't know if you know about him. He's been ousted from his own organization. It's really bad. He's getting sued by them and stuff. And the anti-animal people are also after him. I said, how do you keep going ahead, and going forward? And he basically, I can't quote him directly because I don't remember his exact quote, but he said something along the lines of, "There'll always be something. There'll always be someone. I'm not interested. I'm just going to keep going that way." It was something along those lines. It's like, I'm going forward, right? And no matter what happens to me along the way, I'm not stopping. And that's it. Wherever it comes from, whether it's my own people, whether it's other people, it doesn't matter. I'm going that way. I'm going to continue going forward. I'm paraphrasing. I'm putting it into my own language, but that was pretty much what he said. And it was a really cool... It was just kind of very indicative of who he is and how he's operated for the last 50 years. Like, he's always just done that. Like, oh, people are criticizing me. People are saying I'm a pirate, I'm a terrorist, I'm a this, I'm a that. Yeah, well, I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah, just get shit done.
Just get it done. Keep going, because the animals need it. And that's, if you don't know who he is, Google him, Captain Paul Watson. And that interview will be, I'm really excited to put that up. He's a very inspiring man. Very, very, very inspiring. I think you'll listen to him, you'll get a fire in your belly, and you'll be like, oh shit, I want to go do some shit. For sure. Yeah, I recommend to watch the interview Watson from 2019 if you want to learn more about him. Sharon, thank you for the tip. Says, have you seen the article on the zoo in Scotland that have killed the female wolves? Lawrence, you're fit.
Did you add that on?
No, she said it.
Cheers.
Oh man, Lawrence is
Who was that who said that?
Get your coat. Sharon, who said that? It was Sharon.
Okay, at least it's a female name.
Whoa. Did not realize we had not only a homophobe but a transphobe in the room. What if she? What if that was? Oh my god. Wow.
Well, no.
Lawrence pulling out the biological card.
Hang on.
I'm surprised, bro.
It's not homophobic, first of all. Transphobic, I'll give you. But yeah, knowing my luck, it is a fucking 50-year-old fat bloke with a hairy back or something.
Why would that? What would be wrong with that, Lawrence? Now you're fat phobic, and hairy back phobic. What's that about? Is this like some kind of ableism as well? I can't. I'm.
What do you mean?
Shocked.
What do you mean ableism? It's not a disability to have a hairy back.
It is. It is to be obese though. So I'm surprised, bro. I'm surprised, man. Like wow. I didn't. Guys, I'm sorry. I platformed him. I didn't realize that he was like this. I've given him a platform to spread his bigotry
against
fat hairy men
and hairy people.
Fat hairy men called Sharon. Wow. You need to stop, bro. And back off. Wow. I'm just I don't know what to say. I guess we've got to finish the stream now before YouTube cancels my entire account over this.
Yeah, I know. Well, Sharon, if you are a fat hairy bloke, I'm sorry that I've caused offense. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say now.
It's all right.
I've kind of been put off the spot and on the spot, and my autistic side has come out, so I don't really know what to do. Let's move on.
Put off the spot. I put you off the spot. Oh, I just spat on myself. That was so good. Oh man. All right. This the wolves thing. This was This seems like it was a long time ago. This was in 2006. I think. Oh, I don't know if is there something new? This okay, wait. Have you seen the article on the zoo in Scotland that have killed the female wolves? Zoo in Scotland kills female wolves. I haven't seen anything else. Oh yeah, no, it's here. Okay, let's have a look. It's oh yeah, I gotta send it to you, right? Are you okay? I sent you the link.
Huh? Have you?
Have I pushed you too hard? I'm sorry.
No. I'm just looking at the chat quickly. I've got it up on my phone. I feel like everyone's just fucking laughing.
Yeah, they're having a good time, man. Don't worry. There's nothing. They know what's serious and what isn't serious. You know. It's all good.
No, I know. No, I know. Yeah, it's funny.
All right. Here's the article by the Mirror.
Right, cool. Yeah, I'm back in the room.
Entire pack of wolves put down after anxious behavior, leaving carers heartbroken. Are you fucking serious? The 4 wolves started displaying unusually anxious and abnormal behavior. So they did this operation. One of them had an operation. Oh, the alpha male had an operation and led to complications. An entire pack of wolves has been put down after their alpha died. Despite an initially successful operation, he started suffering from complications that led to the alpha male being euthanized to save him from further pain. Okay. The rest of the pack started displaying unusually anxious and abnormal behavior. So they were all euthanized as well. What?
Why would you euthanize someone when they're being anxious?
Mate, we'd need to euthanize 80% of the human population if we're going to do it that way. What is that, like a funeral home? Like, oh, how are you doing since you lost him? We're not doing very good. The whole family's mourning. Doctor, we need to take these guys out. They're anxious. They're anxious. You need to put them down. What a fucking stupid thing to do. Unbelievable. They took the action as a last resort, and the carers have been left heartbroken. What are you talking about? It was the same day as the other bloody wolf, the same day as the alpha. How is it a last resort? You didn't even try anything. This has to be fake. This has to be fake. There's nothing else to it. Is that just it? Like the remaining, they're closing. They closed the park for a little bit. Oh, is that it? I mean, what's going on? That's it. They've not given any further comment yet. I'm so sorry about this.
It says.
Go on.
It says here, surely they weren't given enough time to even come to terms with losing one of the pack. Behavioral changes may have been expected. It's natural. I mean, yeah, they were probably just mourning, weren't they?
It's, man. What the hell even is that? What were these people thinking? It's not euthanasia.
Well, they probably weren't.
They just murdered the wolves. That's mad. That's mad. Some people would probably be quite happy about that, though, to be fair. Some vegans.
Oh.
not getting into that discussion, but yeah. But no, like no joke. Like,
well, you have to now. No. I was going to make a joke.
No. Oh yeah, don't even entertain that. Don't even entertain that. You could have got me back there, but don't even entertain that shit. But yeah, no, that's the logic here is just astounding, isn't it? Wow. Oh man. Well, someone's put here, amen, euthanize all. I thought it said all zookeepers, but yeah, all tyrant zookeepers. Yeah, not you. Yeah, I suppose we shouldn't euthanize all the zookeepers. To be fair, unless they're anxious, though. If they get anxious, we have to. You know.
I know how you were hating on my stories, but I actually have a story about a zoo person. So ZSL, Zoological Society of London, they run London Zoo. Which is like the main zoo in London. I don't know if there are multiple ones, but like it's the big one that everyone like goes to. And they were having some party events at the zoo. It was like this novelty thing of like, oh, come and have a party at a zoo. And like obviously zoos are wrong anyway, but it's just rubbing salt in the wound to host a party there and have some 25-year-old coked up off their tits go and try and molest a chimpanzee or something. Do you get what I mean? It's like why would you mix those things? And so a few of us did like a protest outside because we thought these parties are getting media attention, so we'll try and piggyback off, or whatever the vegan version of piggybacking is, off of their media attention and stuff. And we did this, and they had a board meeting the same day, and one of the board members came out and spoke to us, and I was speaking to one of the board members, and I actually got, like, she just never thought about it from the individual animal's perspective before. Like, she just thought, oh, we're doing a good thing because we're helping the species continue, or whatever, it's conservation, or that sort of line. And she just never thought of, yeah, but if you think about it from the individual animal's point of view, they don't care if their species continues. They're just in a prison. That's all they know. They're just like locked in essentially a big cage with loads of people gawping at them. And she like kind of took it. So yeah, they might be open to it,
Yeah, no, fair. Yeah, it's kind of like it reminds me about when these pregnant women go to like farms and they do poses with the cows with their pregnant. You know, have you seen that?
I've seen. No?
Oh yeah. I've seen that. Yeah.
Who are these people? Are these like carnivore dieters?
No, they think it's like wholesome to go and do a photo shoot with a big pregnant belly and with the cows and like the farm, and like, oh, it's all wholesome and stuff, and it's kind of like it's rubbing it in, like, oh, I'm gonna keep my, they don't understand, but yeah, I'm gonna keep my baby. We know it's fucked up. The cows don't know it's fucked up, but we know it's really fucked up. It's like kind of a similar thing, you know. Yeah, it's proper messed up, man. The way, and I guess I mean, lots of people explained it to that individual, but she just I saw the comments back. Just people just got really angry about it, you know. But then again, I guess a lot of vegans were giving a proper shit and not being reasonable like you were, and like speaking, and also face to face. This was online.
Well, I did punch her as well, to be fair.
Well, that's I mean, that's obviously it's necessary, isn't it? We got to give him a smack. Cool. Well, I think dude. Let's finish it here, I think. I enjoyed this one. It was good fun. We should do this more often with the stories, because I get so many stories for Face to Facts Friday that I can't use or that I want to talk about more. So if you're up for it, we can do this more often.
Yeah, I'm down for it. I think maybe next time we should try and find more funny ones.
Yeah,
unless
the ones
people like being depressed.
I didn't realize how serious some of them were, and I was like, yeah, it's not really like fun to react to and stuff. I mean, we can figure out a way of getting into serious stuff that is good to get in, like in a good way, you know. But I'll
try and think of some mass deaths by heat exposure banter for next time.
I don't mean like that. I mean, like, you know, we'll come up with something like a conclusion, though, a way of doing it that makes more sense or something like that. So
yeah.
All right, dude. Cool. Thanks everyone for joining. Go and check out Lawrence's channel if you like learning about antinatalism or the ethics around having kids. If you want to go and check that out, Lawrence Anton, Annie will put the link here. And guys, don't forget, if you're not already in the YouTube memberships team, you could join and get that cool green logo. Alternatively, or you do it as well, join the Patreon team and you can DM me directly. We can have conversations in DMs in Patreon. You get that. It's a pretty cool bonus. And I really like it. So do it and talk to me and send me stuff. Send me videos. Send me stuff you want me to make. Give me some ideas. And I will respond to you. We'll discuss it. It's awesome. I love doing that. So, yeah. Do all of that. Subscribe to Lawrence. And you can say my outro if you'd like to, Lawrence. I can hand it over. Would you like to do that?
Yeah. Thanks, everyone, for coming to this live stream. Keep calling out that bullshit, and we'll see you in the next one.
There you go. Nailed it. That was wholesome, bro.